Mr. Gyan Dutt, most welcome. Dr. Meena Pandey, Dr. Veena Pandey, most welcome. KKA, now recording is on. It's over to you, Dr. Atul Priti, please.
Yes, sir.
और ऐश्वर्य कोई भी अपना वीडियो ऑन करे आप उसको रिमूव कर दें तुरंत, ध्यान रखिए इस बात का.
Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Atul Preti, Organizing Secretary of this e-conference. On behalf of entire organizing committee and SRBS, I welcome you all. This is our first session of International e-conference on recent trends in life science research, challenges, and promises. The first session of this conference, we have Dr. Akriti Srivastava from UConn Health Center, USA. She is our keynote speaker. Dr. Anjana Bhatia, HNV Jalandhar, Dr. Reena Dave from MNL Virani Science College, Rajkot, and Dr. Elawat from GD Goenka University, Gurgaon. I thank all of these eminent speakers to spare their valuable time out of their very busy schedule. First, I would request Professor A.K. Mishra, patron of the conference, to share a few words with our speakers and participants. Over to you, Professor A.K. Mishra.
Thank you, Dr. Ramesh Chandra ji. It gives us a proud privilege that Botany and Zoology Department of SS College and Government PG College, Bajpur, Uttarakhand are jointly organizing a national e-conference today. And it is also facilitated by Society for Research and Biological Science. They are convener of the Bande National E-Conference, Dr. Adarsh Pandey, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Atul Priti ji, Dr. Preeti Singh, Dr. Ramesh Chandra ji, and Dr. Nirupama Dalkoti ji. It is undoubtedly the team of such eminent teachers. It gives me a proud privilege that they are organizing such a wonderful national e-conference today. The eminent speaker and keynote speaker of today, Dr. Akriti ji, and other resource person of the e-conference, Dr. Anjana, Dr. Reena, and Dr. Jyoti. That e-conference is organizing on the topic recent trend in life sciences, research, challenges, and promises. Life sciences in a natural science that studies living organisms, including physical structure, chemical processes, molecular interaction, psychological mechanism, development and evolution. This described of a fundamental values of life. And in the recent past and recent decades, very much understand of the life sciences promises, but some basic problems have recognized to be solved, such as origin of life, aging, and pattern formation. Immunology, molecular biology, pharmacology, virology, and population dynamics and biomedical science in genetic form is gaining a high reputance day by day. As I think the life sciences is a mother of Ayurveda, allopath, homeopath, and natural path too. And but in the present scenario, the scope of life sciences is enhancing day by day, because it is a very much interdisciplinary subject. Only there are two subjects in the world, I think. One is life sciences and other thing for the welfare of life sciences, lives. Welfare of lives include all economics,
सर आपका माइक म्यूट हो गया, माइक अनम्यूट कर लीजिए सर। सर आपका माइक म्यूट हो गया है, माइक अनम्यूट कर लीजिए सर।
आवाज आ रही है? अब आ रही है?
हाँ आप सर, यस सर,
हेलो,
यस सर, यस
अब आ रही है?
जी आ रही है,
And
जी आ रही है।
life sciences is very much interdisciplinary subject. Only two form are there. One is the life sciences and other is for the betterment of the life sciences. For the betterment of life sciences subject, all commerce, economics, sociology and other things. But in case of life sciences, this is a very much interdisciplinary subject. This includes within chemistry, physics, statistics, geography, psychology, and all other allied areas. The present pandemic have given a big challenge for the subject of the life sciences, because the coming time, the research and labs are doing for the betterment of life, but they are also producing the bitter for the lives. So that there are a good challenge. In my opinion, as a student of commerce, the industry of life sciences is facing too much problems, such as problems of patent, generic, pseudo-generic, and patent commodities, less focus on R&D of the institution as well as the companies, global competitions. And in case of life sciences, there is a gain, but in a long term, not in a short term. In fact, today is a very challenging topic. The team have been selected that recent trend in life sciences, in research, and such research are going in different labs, different organizations, and they are doing for the betterment of life, and how the life can be more fruitful for everyone without disease, without infection, and a good survival of the life is required. But the challenges are very much with the research of the life sciences. Some countries having a monopoly, they are having their own patent system, they are having a compulsion on the patent, and there are so many malpractices in competitions of the research in the life sciences. But I think the promise are there. Researchers and scientists are doing well in case of life sciences, but this required a span of time. That is a clinical trial, another trial. Present COVID-19 virus, coronavirus is going on, but the span of vaccine required a span of time due to some certain facts. Because without clinical trial and other trials, this cannot be forced to the society, and because it's depend upon the life. I think the researchers team and they are organizing a very good they will organize a very good sessions, technical session as well as inaugural and validity session of that national e-conference. My all the congratulations to the concerning team, Dr. Adarsh Pandey, Dr. Ramesh Chandra, Nirupama Dalkoti, Preeti Singh and Atul Upreti, and those who are connected and associated in this seminar nationally and internationally. I am very much thankful. I welcome on behalf of my college as well as College of the Government PG College, Bajpur, Uttarakhand, and also from the Society of Research in Biological Science. I welcome once again all of you and hope that very much thoughtful, highlighted lectures will be delivered and proper discussion will be held today on this National E-Conference. Once again, good wishes all of you and welcoming all of you.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सर, चरण स्पर्श आपका आशीर्वाद।
भैया खुश है,
थैंक यू,
थैंक यू भैया डॉक्टर। ओके,
थैंक यू सर। Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Now, I call upon Dr. Nirupama Dalakuti, report.
Dr. Atul, please unmute your mic.
Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Now, I call upon Dr. Nirupama Dalakuti, reporter of the session, to formally introduce our keynote speaker to the participants. Over to you, Dr. Dalakuti.
Thank you so much, sir. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all in this.
Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Dr. Nirupama, please.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay.
I welcome you all in this international e-conference on recent trend in life science research, challenges and promises, organized by Government PG College, Bajpur, Nagar, Uttarakhand, Department of Botany, SS College, and Society of Research in Biological Science. I am pleased to introduce our eminent speaker, Dr. Akriti Srivastava, postdoctorate fellow, Department of Neurosciences, Yukon Health Center, Connecticut, USA. Dr. Akriti also held important position as Senior Research Fellow during 2016-17 and Junior Research Fellow during 2013-16 at CSIR IITR, Lucknow. Dr. Srivastava has completed her PhD in biochemistry from CSIR, Indian Institute of Toxicology, Research, Lucknow. Dr. Akriti Srivastava has won many accolades in the field of research and has won many awards like Srimati Snehlata Banerjee Gold Medal for Best Research Publication at National Conference on Current Issue of Environmental Health, Climate Change and its Management, Travel Award by the Asia Pacific Society for Neurochemistry Malaysia, Best Poster Presentation Award at 2nd IBRO APRC Chandigarh Neuroscience School, India. Dr. Akriti Srivastava has vast experience in publication and has published many research papers in various reputed national and international journals having high impact factor. Dr. Srivastava has also published 10 articles, 5 short communications and 2 books chapters and has attended 5 national and international conferences. Ma'am, we are very thankful to have you on this international e-conference. Now I request Dr. Akriti to deliver her lecture on new trends in stem cells. Ma'am, please.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nirupama. It's my pleasure to be here on this platform today, and I'd be very happy if I'm able to shed some light on the current trends in life sciences. So I'll start sharing my screen and just give just a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm having some trouble connecting here.
Okay. Don't worry. Okay. Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah. So is my screen?
Yeah, please.
Is my screen like visible to everybody?
Yeah. Now it's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm here to deliver a talk on the new trends in stem cells in life sciences. So I'm sure everybody here must be aware of what stem cells are and how they have majorly impacted biomedical research and clinical research in general, and what are their benefits, how they're being used in the disease therapy, and what are their features, so on and so forth. I'll be taking them up one by one. So what stem cells are? So it was by a Bavarian hacker that the term stem cell was coined, which they used to define a group of cells that could give rise to the entire germ line of an organism. And these stem cells are said to be completely naive. They are said to be completely uneducated in the sense that you can stimulate them to be differentiated or to be converted into any desired cell type of the body, of the human body, when they're exposed to a specific stimulus from outside. And they're pretty easy to generate from either adult body tissue or from the embryo, that's the human embryo, or they can also be generated from an adult tissue through the process of reprogramming. Now, reprogramming is a process where we introduce certain genetic factors, which are also called as the stem cell factors, into these adult tissues and convert them back into the stem cells. It's like taking a cell back to its origin. Another major important factor or the property of stem cell is their capacity to self-renew or self-replicate. So this gives them the status of being a living organism, a complete living system in themselves. Now, stem cells are they're broadly classified based on their ability to differentiate into various cell types of the body, which is also known as their cellular potency. So based on their cell potency, they're either totipotent, pluripotent, or multipotent. In case of totipotent stem cells, these kind of stem cells can give rise to whole organism, to like all the cell types of the body, as well as the extraembryonic tissue like placenta. So the best example for a totipotent cell would be a zygote, that is the beginning of life or that can give rise to a whole organism. Then comes the pluripotent stem cells. Pluripotent stem cells are those kind of stem cells which have the capacity or the ability to differentiate into all possible types of cells in a human body. And they basically induce embryonic stem cells as well as induce pluripotent stem cells. Lastly, we come to multipotent stem cells. Multipotent stem cells can give rise to like a limited number of cells. They have a restricted ability to differentiate, and these usually are the adult stem cells, which are the mesenchymal stem cells, neural stem cells, or even the hematopoietic cells. Now, since their inception, their stem cells have advanced in the way they're being used, the whole stem cell biology area. So since their inception, they have grown, they have evolved over time. So the researchers first began using the 2D culture of stem cells. 2D culture is the basic two-dimensional culture of cells, wherein the cells grow in a single layer, like a monolayer of cells growing on a suitable surface. This kind of model of stem cells is used for understanding the basic disease mechanisms or for various toxicity screening assays. So this is for studying the most basic principles or basic phenomenon of like physiological activity that goes on in the body. But the problem with this kind of format is that they do not truly represent the human system, because they're quite simple, and whereas the human anatomy is very complex. So the researchers went a step ahead and invented the 3D culture system or the organoid system. In the 3D culture, this was a more complex and self-organizing kind of a structure, wherein the cells could interact with each other, and not just one type of cell, like multiple types of cells could interact with each other in terms of forming networks, forming connections between each other, and how they influence each other's activity. So that is more depictive how the things happen inside a human body, or how the environment around a human organ system is. So whatever like the results obtained through 3D culture system, especially in case of disease modeling and drug screening, was more depictive or more relatable to the human response. So they were obviously more preferred than the 2D format. But the researchers, the stem cell biologists, they didn't just stop at the 3D culture. They went a step even further to come up with the concept of organ-on-chip. Now, what is organ-on-chip? Organ-on-chip is like a complete organ system on the size of a microchip. So these chips have various channels coming from different sides. The channels are lined with actual human cells, and they come equipped with a lot of sensors too. Sensors to detect the changes in pH, to detect the changes in temperature, to see the gaseous exchange that happens in organ system in like actual human body, and how there is like solute transport, there is a vasculature system, circulatory system. So all these functions have been incorporated in the organ-on-chip concept in just the size of a microchip. So when like here, if you see at in the particular figure here, this is the a beating heart, which is not inside a body, it's actually in a laboratory in a dish. So this is how it looks. I mean, it just needs a lot of expertise to produce such kind of a model. But once it is made, it's really, really helpful in understanding human physiology,
नहीं नहीं
in
सर,
understanding the
नहीं बहुत बढ़िया.
effects,
अरे सर बहुत अच्छा बोले सर, आप बहुत बढ़िया बोले सर, बहुत.
in understanding the effects or the changes caused due to a disease, and also when you are assessing some drug response in a patient or in a human system. So the response or the results that you get, they're more relatable to the human system in reality, how the human system or the human organ system would respond. So the data obtained through this system is far more reliable. And that's the reason why most of the organizations that are engaged in drug development are relying heavily on this particular concept of organ-on-chip. Now, since we are talking about the new trends in stem cell biology, or the clinical, how they have impacted the clinical scenario or the research scenario. So my first talk would be more on the induced pluripotent stem cells, which are the trending topic in the biomedical research area right now. The induced pluripotent stem cells, as I said earlier, have the capacity to differentiate into any type of cell in the body. And these were discovered in the year 2006 by Shinya Yamanaka in Japan. And this particular discovery actually changed the face of stem cell research. It was like after a lot of failed efforts that he was able to convert adult tissue cells back into stem cells through the introduction of various stem cell factors, which later on came to be known as Yamanaka factors after his name. And just introduction of those genetic factors or those stem cell factors into the adult tissue, he was able to reconvert a differentiated mature cell back into the stem cell. So when I say iPSCs or induced pluripotent stem cells, I literally mean the set of cells that can be externally stimulated to form any type of cell in the body, like any possible kind of cell. And these are extremely, extremely important for disease modeling. And when you are investigating like the mechanism of a disease, how they affect various different pathways of the body, and as well as when you are screening for various compounds or drugs, or even for toxicity screening or toxicity testing studies. So they come in as, they prove to be very, very important in those areas. Also, they can be easily derived from a healthy individual or from a patient with a minimally invasive procedure. I mean, you don't need an extensive, elaborate surgery here. You just need a skin biopsy to obtain the adult tissue from which you can convert these, those adult tissue into iPSCs. So the most transforming concept in the life science research was the concept of patient-derived iPSCs. So with patient-derived iPSCs, how it is done is, supposedly you have a patient, say, suffering with any kind of disease. Here it's, in this example, states the patient having Huntington's disease, which is a neurodegenerative disorder. So what is done is, you take a skin biopsy of this patient, you get the skin fibroblasts, and then you add the stem cell factors to convert them into iPSCs. Now, there are two ways you can proceed with these iPSCs. you either straight away convert them into your desired cell type, say like neurons here, like the intermediate stage of neurons, and then into the final mature neurons. And you use these neurons for the disease modeling purpose, for the drug screening purpose, or for the toxicity testing purpose. So in a way, when you have this neurons, so these neurons, since they've been derived from the patient, whatever genetic makeup or genetic flaws that that patient has would be there in this particular set of neurons. So you can easily study the system. You can easily see what are the what could be the possible targets while drug development. This is one method of using the patient-derived iPSCs. Another method is, once you have the iPSCs converted from the skin cells of the patient, you can genetically correct them. Like you can remove the mutations that were there in those set of cells and correct them, and then convert them into the neurons and transplant these corrected neurons back into the patient. So there comes the therapeutic application of stem cells here. So you can, so in a way, like patient-derived iPSCs came in very handy, or proved very, very useful when you, in case of both in cellular therapy as well as for disease modeling and drug screening purpose. So this was a very important milestone achieved by the researchers in the field of stem cell and in the field of life science research as such. Now, with the stem cells came another major concept, another interesting concept of regenerative medicine. Regenerative medicine is a type of medicine wherein the cells, or particularly here the stem cells, they can repair or replace any tissue that has been damaged in the body, like say heart tissue, brain tissue, kidney cells, liver tissue, whatever it is, whatever or wherever the damage is, you can use stem cells to repair the damage or replace those damaged cells. So how it is like this, for example, here, you have a patient, say possibly with a spinal cord injury. You take the skin cells from this patient, convert them into iPSCs, and then differentiate those iPSCs into neural stem cells. And these neural stem cells are then injected back into the patient. So what the researchers observed here was, after a while, they saw these cells that had been injected back into the patient, they started growing in number and they started repairing the damaged tissue. So it could either be two ways. What the conclusion came out was, they could either directly replace the damaged cells, or probably they secrete certain factors, certain growth factors that can repair the damage in that particular area of the body or in that particular tissue. So this is like completely patient-derived cells, so there are no chances of rejection here, because it's the patient's own cells that are being injected back into him or her. So the chances of rejection are minimal, if any. And it was safe. It has been found to be, in pilot studies, it was found to be in some cases effective too. So the studies are still on, it's still growing, the field is still growing, and we still have to see the long-term effects, how it goes. But so far, this particular concept has been a game changer for the disease therapy studies here, or for the cellular therapy in general. Now, after we had regenerative medicine, we got to know the regenerative capacity of the stem cells. Researchers brainstormed and came up with another concept of personalized medicine. Now, with personalized medicine, what I mean is, when you have a patient, the treatment that is designed for that particular patient is completely specific to him or her. I mean, whatever genetic flaws are in that patient would be replicated in the therapy or in the therapy that you want to give to that patient. And also, whatever the responses you will get, say for drug testing or drug screening, using the cells from that patient would give you the exact response that you could later on estimate or anticipate in that patient. Like how, if you give a certain drug to a patient, how his or her body is going to respond to it. So you get a very, very clear picture of that like specifically for that particular patient. So organ-on-chip concept, as I explained earlier, is a very, very useful tool for drug screening and for like therapy as such. And it works through the microfluidics process. Microfluidics is like use of channels and sensors and various, continuous inflow and outflow of compounds and gases and solutes, like it happens in our body. So there's like Viz Institute and Harvard here in US has developed a lot of organ chips, like liver chip, kidney chip, lung chip, and these chips, if lined with the cells of a patient, would give the exact response how his or her body is going to respond to a particular drug. So what they are doing now is the next thing that they have in mind in the area of personalized medicine is combining all of these different organ chips together to possibly create a human on chip. So once you have a human on chip, you have a system wherein all the different organ systems can actually interact with each other. That's like how a human body works. So then you probably, I don't know how long that will take, but then you can probably use that system for drug screening for clinical trials. So you do not need to waste money on the clinical trials using animals, because animals and human data, although they have like genetic homology, they share the genome to quite a certain extent, but the results that you obtain in an animal model need not be the same in the human system also. There's no guarantee that whatever you get in an animal system, that exact response you're going to get in the human system as well. That's the reason why most of the clinical trials fail, because the preclinical data suggest a strong response, positive results, but when it reaches the final clinical trials in the human subjects, the results do not, I mean, there's no success there. So this is one of the major reasons, the interspecies difference between animals and humans, that leads to the failure of clinical trials of most of the drugs. So if this concept materializes like on a large scale, maybe those data ambiguities, those interspecies difference would be done away with, and whatever response, whatever data we generate in the lab, that would actually be more reflective of human data. So this is another development in the field of stem cell biology, in the field of like possibly the clinical aspects of stem cell biology. Now, based on that, so many benefits of stem cells, FDA has approved the stem cell therapy for a few diseases, and some of them are still in clinical trials. Now, before mentioning the diseases here, one important point that I'd like to mention in stem cell therapy is the requirement for FDA approval. If, say, any stem cell therapy, if any clinic promo is saying it is involved in stem cell therapy, but it does not have an FDA approval, then you can never rely on that treatment, because it does not guarantee any safety. It does not guarantee the efficacy of treatment. So you will spend a lot of money on the treatment, but it could, backfire. You could have a lot of side effects. You could have failed surgeries, loss of money. So, and before going for any kind of stem cell therapy, it's very important to see if that clinic has the FDA approval or not. So based on the various positive effects of stem cell therapy, a lot of blood-related disorders have already been treated with stem cell therapy, and they also have the FDA approval, those therapies. Like most of the leukemias, lymphomas, thalassemia, and storage diseases or immune disorders, they have been successfully treated with stem cell therapy, and they have due FDA approval too. Whereas the other disorders, like the more prevalent disorders like Parkinson's, stroke, diabetes, they are all in the pipeline. They are still in clinical trials, and hopefully we'll soon reach the approval stage too, because the clinical trials so far have been they have shown good results, but it's too early to say if you will have 100% success rate with the stem cell therapy there. So it's still the trials are still on for such diseases. Now, besides contributing to the overall health of the human population, the stem cell therapy also contributes to revenue generation at a global level. So it's estimated like from 2019 to 2025, there roughly 28% of annual growth is expected in terms of stem cell therapy market, and that could generate a revenue of say around $167 million US dollars. Sorry. So most of the developed as well as the developing nations are moving towards stem cell research and clinical trials for various diseases, for stem cell banking. So in all of this, and they have a lot of projects in the pipeline too, where the clinical trials are on. So all of this contributes majorly to the overall global market, overall global economy too. So besides just being used as the life science tool or as a therapeutic tool in life sciences, they also contribute in a major way to the overall revenue generation. Now, another interesting concept that came into existence around 2012 was the concept of stem cell drugs. Now, what is stem cell drugs? So far, we were discussing about stem cell therapy, and now this is stem cell drugs. Now, if you go by the dictionary statement of drugs, it's actually a substance that can be used or consumed to treat or prevent a disease or to promote a general well-being of a person. So based on that definition, stem cell drugs are also off-the-shelf products that are derived from stem cells. So what these products or drugs could be, they're usually the secreted factors of stem cells. So they could either be in the form of vesicles filled with various biomolecules like proteins and RNAs and microRNAs, enzymes, whatever comes out of the stem cells. It's been seen, and why these products are important is because over last few years, it has been seen that the reparative function or the regenerative function of stem cells is more based on their secretory factors than their ability to actually replace a particular damaged area, like the cells of that damaged area. So it's not really the cells per se that are showing an effective, like they are showing some beneficial effect towards the disease, but it's actually the factors that are being secreted from those cells that are helping in the recovery of damaged tissue. So that's why these products gain a lot of popularity and a lot of interest of the researchers. And now there are like almost 10 stem cell drugs till now have been approved by FDA for clinical applications. And mostly these drugs are derived from the adult stem cells, which are the hematopoietic stem cells or the mesenchymal.
You have 2 minutes left, please.
Yeah, I'm just wrapping up. So they probably modulate the immune responses as well as work through their secretory factors. Now, this is just like stating this is a list of all the approved stem cell drugs, which you can go through by the link. And here is a general comparison between stem cell drugs and stem cell therapy. So stem cell drugs do not have batch-to-batch variation, and they are strictly regulated by GMP guidelines. So, and they're like easily viable off-the-shelf products. So they have certain benefits over the stem cell therapy as such, majorly being the avoiding the batch-to-batch variation. Now, besides that, we have various stem cell patches coming up, which have heart, for retina, that can replace and repair the damaged tissues with, and they have been, these are still in the pilot level, but with the stem cell patches for retina have been successful in macular degeneration disease. Also, we have stem cell gun for burns, which can be sprayed on the burned area of the skin and repair those damaged area of the skin. And stem cell injections for hair loss, which can rejuvenate the hair follicles for a better hair growth. So this is all in the pipeline yet, in the pilot level, and still being studied at a larger level. we have a lot of advantages and disadvantages besides their medical advantages and their their like importance in the drug development studies. They also have certain negative aspects, like they're time consuming to grow. The long-term effects of the cellular therapy are still to be seen, like examined, and there could be certain ethical constraints with some of these types of stem cells, sometimes in most of the countries. So with the pros, they also have cons. So you need to strike a balance between the two to actually use them for therapeutic purposes. So overall, the summary is that stem cells have a huge potential for treating various diseases, and they can repair the damaged cells within the body. They can identify the disease mechanism, identify new drugs and toxins that can, or what the possible side effects of those toxins can be. They need a due approval before being administered to a patient to ensure the quality, safety, and efficacy of this treatment. And also, they contribute to a major, to the global revenue in a major way because of the various stem cell projects that are in the pipeline, owing to their great potential in the therapeutic or the clinical research area. So with this, I wind up my presentation. I hope I was able to shed some light on the recent trends in the stem cell area and how they have impacted the biomedical research and the life science research. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very informative presentation. And now, I would call upon Dr. Nirupama Dalakoti to introduce our next speaker, Dr.
Thank you so much, Dr. Akriti. It was well explained, and it was more than enough what I thought. Excellently
Thank you
explained.
so much.
I wish I could have a daughter like you. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. That was a huge compliment. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here.
God bless you. Over to you, Dr. Priti.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So I would like to call upon Dr. Nirupama Dalakoti for to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Anjana Bhatia. Over to you, Dr. Dalakoti.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Akriti ma'am, for such a nice, informative lecture. And now it gives me immense pleasure in introducing our eminent speaker, Dr. Anjana Bhatia, Dean Equal Opportunity and Head of PG Department of Botany, Hansraj Mahila Mahavidyalay, Jalandhar, Punjab. Dr. Anjana Bhatia is specialized in plant natural products and has wide experience in the field of research and publications, and has published 5 books, 18 papers in various reputed national and international journals. Dr. Bhatia has won many awards in the field of research, like National Award for Rural Punjab regarding biofuels, Young Scientist Award from Punjab Academy of Sciences, Gold Medal from District Administration for Extraordinary Social Services. Ma'am, we are very privileged to have you on this conference. Now I request Dr. Anjana Bhatia to deliver her lecture on biofuel. Ma'am, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Nirupama, and it is my huge pleasure to be present here. I also thank Dr. Pandey for having me here, and it is indeed a great effort, International E-Conference, and I understand that your team has been doing continuously during the lockdown period. You've been continuously involved in the spread of knowledge, especially in the field of botany and life sciences. So I feel privileged to be here, and I'm going to speak on biofuels. Let me know if I'm able to share my screen now. So my screen is there with you?
No, ma'am. I'm not able to see the screen.
Not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Do I have the privilege of sharing the screen?
Sure.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
It's there?
Yes, ma'am. Very much there.
So now I'll start with the presentation. My presentation
Yes.
is basically on biofuels, prospects and problems. So first of all, let us just see what the alarming situation is here. Coming 2030, we are going to be a whopping number on this planet. As you can see from this graph that we took as human species, we took 300,000 years to reach our first billion, but only 12 years to reach our 5th and 6th billion, and we are no way stopping. And increasing population demands increasing energy. Look at this slide and you will have a fair idea of how much import we are doing in regard to energy. For example, coal, natural gas, oil. India is not at all self-dependent in energy, and we are importing lots and lots of energy, and that, you know, that pays a huge toll on our forex, on our foreign investments and things like that. So we are kind of not self-dependent here in energy sector. See, India's energy expenditure is nearly $330,000 daily for foreign energy sources. So this is no mean task. Moving further, India lags behind in petroleum, although we have reserves, but those are not enough because we are a huge population and we are spending lots of energy, especially petroleum, we are spending a lot. So even if they are the secondary need, they are actually needed for a well-defined economy. Now coming to the alternative sources of energy, if we are not using the renewable energy, what are the non-renewable energy, sorry, what are the other sources? Wind is there, hydropower is there, geothermal, solar, biomass. We all are aware of these sources, but as botanists, what attracts us the most is the biofuels. Now, what is biofuel? It is not a new term. We all are aware, yet I'm just letting you know once again. Biofuel refers to the liquid or gaseous fuels that are predominantly produced from the biomass. So, biomass से जो fuel हमें प्राप्त होता है, वो हम कह सकते हैं कि biofuel है. It is considered relevant technology, which includes energy security, which includes it is addressing the environmental concerns also when we talk of biofuels, and foreign exchange savings are there, socio-economic issues related to the rural sector, especially if we are paying interest to the biofuel sector, then we are also paying interest to the socio-economic issues related with the villages. So these are the advantages of biofuels, easily available from common biomass sources. They're environmentally friendly and they're biodegradable. So they contribute to the sustainability as well. So what are the needs of biofuels? A combination of rising costs, shrinking supplies. If we look at this diagram, this map, we have almost 53.3 years left for the energy which is non-renewable. So this was in 2018, minus 2 years, 51.3 years almost left now. And global climate change, that is a major concern, once again, because of the pollution being caused by such fuels. So according to the data of Alternative Fuels Center USA, the cleanest and safest alternative to petroleum and diesel is biodiesel, which is followed by hydrogen and then electricity and then ethanol. So biodiesel is a little bit different from what we talk of biofuel. So biodiesel actually, it includes a variety of ester-based oxygenated fuels from biological sources. So biological sources say direct, if we are taking diesel, so that is the biodiesel. Chemically, it is defined as monoalkyl esters of long chain fatty acids derived from the lipids. And biodiesel is better than your regular diesel fuel in terms of sulfur content, the flash point, aromatic content, and biodegradability as well. So now a little bit into the history of biodiesel. Biodiesel is not at all new. 1853, scientists E. Duffy and J. Patrick conducted trans-esterification of vegetable oil. Once they trans-esterified this oil, they had something like diesel in their hands. And the journey for diesel engine began in 1893 when Rudolf Diesel published the paper entitled The Theory and Construction of a Rational Heat Engine. Dr. Diesel used peanut oil to fuel one of his engines at the Paris Exposition. Then, Then at 1911 World's Fair in Paris, Dr. Diesel ran his engine on peanut oil. मूंगफली के तेल पे उन्होंने अपनी गाड़ी चलाई थी and declared that diesel engine can be fed with vegetable oils and will help considerably in the development of agriculture of the countries which use it. In 1980s, biodiesel plants opened in many European countries and many cities ran buses on biodiesel. European Union accounted for nearly 89% of all biodiesel production worldwide in 2005. In India, well, India has a rich resource of biodiversity and many plants have that potential to become biofuel crops. So our national biofuel policy, which was drafted in 2009, it mandated to blend the 5% green biofuels into gasoline. Today, India has no diesel substitute of note, which barely managing to achieve 3% bioethanol blending in gasoline. So what have been the major hurdles in our biodiesel production or biofuel production? First, inadequate manufacturing capacity, then non-availability of non-edible vegetable oils and molasses. So another hurdle was both molasses-based bioethanol and vegetable or tree-borne oil-based biodiesel are renewable fuels, but they fare very badly in terms of net energy ratio and net carbon reduction. So moving forward, India has been spending on research on biofuel technologies for more than a decade. And these are the major agencies which are involved in the biofuel production. CSIR, MNRE, that is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. They worked a lot in this field. Department of Science and Technology, Department of Biotechnology. And essential features of any sustainable technology suitable to India must be fuel production at competitive cost. This is very, very important, the cost point. Then low capex and deployed at medium scale, feedstock agnostic technology, zero waste generation. This is important. Once again, low water consumption. Now, Indian government launched the National Biodiesel Mission, identifying Jatropha as the most suitable tree-borne oil seed for biodiesel production. And pilot program was started and extended to 6 states. However, due to acute shortage of Jatropha seeds, the government's ambitious plan did not materialize, and moreover, several existing biodiesel plants shifted operations to adopt multiple feedstock technology. For instance, they started using the cooking oils, the animal fats. So they were in a bit of problem. So Planning Commission of India had set an ambitious target covering 11.2 to 13.4 million hectares of land under Jatropha by the end of the 11th five-year plan. Central government, several state governments provided for the fiscal deficits, but yet India kept lagging behind. The global experience in biofuel expansion has not been very inspiring. In an urge to shift to greener sources of energy rapidly, most of the major biofuel producing countries resorted to staple food products or food crops for production of bioenergy. So the situation may sound bleak, but yet there is huge potential here. Energy production from biomass has great potential. And Melvin Calvin, I'm quoting him, he is famous for his Calvin cycle. I'm really confident that plants that grow in semi-arid regions of the world could be used to fulfill some of our chemical and energy needs of hydrocarbon. Here he talks of hydrocarbon. And all flesh is grass, all grass is sun. So we have to look at plants for our energy needs. Plants face severe conditions. Plants face solar UV radiations, desiccation conditions, insects, herbivores, strong winds, and yet they not only bloom, they bloom with full biodiversity. So plants have that chemical wit with them to face all these severe conditions. And what is the chemical wit of plants? Here, the chemical wit of plants are the secondary metabolites being secreted by the plants. So a humble plant synthesizes many more chemicals in its lifetime than whole of the world's chemists combined. So these chemicals, these secondary metabolites that the plants produce, they can be tapped further for their biofuel potential. The use of hydrocarbon producing plants for biofuels, it was started by Italians in Ethiopia. And then Buchanan et al. Worked on thousands of hydrocarbon producing plant species. And then McLaughlin Hoffman did an extensive research on diverse plant species from various parts of US. See, plants produce latex, they produce oils, resins, hydrocarbons. The various compounds accumulated by plants are unique and they are very, very useful. You can see this picture. This picture is of Pittosporum resiniferum. This is called the petroleum nut. Very, very interestingly, this is used by the indigenous populations to give energy in the form of light, fire, because they simply burn the nut and it burns like anything, like your gas. So petroleum nut is a very interesting plant, and there are many such plants which are used by indigenous populations and we need to tap them. The petroleum nut is rich in heptane, in myrcene, in dihydropentene and epinene. These are all gasoline substances. So plants hold the key to future. Another nut is here. This is all called candle nut. Direct away, you can use this as a candle. Eleuritis mullicans. It is a flowering tree in the spurge family Euphorbiaceae. It is also known as the candle berry. So these are some of the videos. I'm skipping them for now and moving forward. So the world was hugely dependent on petroleum-based energy, and then biofuels came back into fashion during World War I when there was fossil oil shortage, and then further crisis, the 1973 crisis, 79 crisis, 2000 crisis, led many countries like US, Brazil to start thinking of production of biofuels on a large scale. And in past 10 years, biofuels have been embraced as a way to resolve some of the world's greatest challenges, declining the fossil fuel supplies and high oil prices. Especially the climate change is also addressed here. So these are the promises of biofuel. Biofuel produced from lignocellulosic biomass can significantly reduce our dependence on oil and create new jobs as well, improve rural economy and ensure energy security. But there is this challenge. This is a bottleneck for lignocellulosic biomass derived fuels. What is the challenge here? The lack of technology for efficient conversion of biomass into liquid fuels. New technologies are needed to replace the fossil fuels with renewable sources. So these are the challenges. Once again, food versus fuel. This is the biggest challenge being faced by the biofuel industry. Talking of India and other developing countries, an estimated 27% of adolescents in developing countries are iron deficient. And see, in Madhya Pradesh, this is a picture. Many girls, many newborns, they are facing huge challenges in terms of nutrition. This is once again a girl, Vishakha. She weighed 2.3 kgs and suffers from severe malnutrition. So India is one of those countries which is having huge divide, nutritional divide, and many of our population are suffering from malnutrition, and 1 in 10 older people are also suffering from malnutrition. Why I'm talking this here? I'm not talking this here because we cannot afford to convert our food plants like our corn, our sugarcane, our other food plants into biofuel, because if we want to address the issue of biofuel, we cannot ignore the issue of food-based plants. So Is India missing the biofuel bus? The biofuel policy encouraged the use of renewable energy sources as alternate fuels to supplement transport fuels. So these are the various countries who have actually used the biofuel in their aviation, like New Zealand. Air New Zealand has completed world's first second generation biofuel flight. Brazil, world's largest producer of biodiesel, it has green transportation visiting teams like World Cup. When it was there, the buses which used to carry the World Cup teams, they were powered with biofuel blends. And even USA, they are all blending biofuel into their regular fuel. And in India, we have to think of those lines. So what I've talked about, the food plants, I've talked about our issues. So what should be our strategy? We should be concentrating on plants which can grow on wastelands. In India, hectares of lands exist as wastelands, which could be converted into green oil fields. And this is a breakup of some of the states, only a few of the states I'm breaking up here, who have such huge area of wasteland, and many more states are having. So India should not actually miss this bus, because we have wastelands and we have many plants which can grow in these wastelands and produce those, heptane-based secondary metabolites, the latex, which can be further used as biofuel. So आज की अगर बात करें, if we talk of today, August 2020, our national biofuel policy has these highlights. Controls and taxes on interstate movement of molasses. It is hindering the ethanol blending program. The biodiesel blending program is suffering due to 18% GST on biodiesel. Insufficient availability of raw material feedstock has hindered BBP. And use of food grains I've already talked about. I'll briefly, because I know time is passing on, I'll just briefly rush over what we are doing here in our laboratory to meet the triple challenge of biofuel, looking for satisfactory answers of energy demand, stop the forced deforestation, and produce multiple using the plants which can be used otherwise also apart from giving the biofuel. We are concentrating on those plants. So our research, it was focused on various plants of Punjab. We undertook some research to study the hydrocarbon content of plants collected from and around the areas of Jalandhar. Most of the collections were made during the months of March to July. Because the extractables are reported to be high during these months, and Jalandhar
Dr. Anjana, please.
Yes,
please conclude. Only 2 minutes left. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'll we basically focused on euphorbia plants. 10 plants were selected, and we got very good results with euphorbia cotineifolia, which is also known as lal patti. So we prepared the extracts. Once we had prepared the extracts, we subjected them to various tests and found out what was their biofuel potential through the various biocrudes that we extracted. So interestingly, the biocrude that we got, it gave good results when we tried to convert it into biodiesel. And the biodiesel hence obtained was tested for iodine value, acid value, peroxide value, and it was compared with that of Jatropha, and it was found to be quite similar, and in some matters it exceeded. So fuels with low ash content are preferably, so euphorbia cotineifolia had low ash content and moisture content was also low. So I think we can focus on more such plants like euphorbia cotineifolia, which can give good results, which can grow on wasteland, which are low water demanding plants and which have other uses also, which can give us good results. So future research, I think, should be focused on such plants, and there is I don't hesitate in saying that this can improve the rural economy as well. So over here, I'll wind up. they say it is okay to chainsaw is running on biofuel so let us not cut trees for biofuels, let us not compromise on food, but yes, we can, the take home message is that we can use such plants which can grow on wastelands and we can work upon them. So over here, I'll stop and say thank you for such patient listening. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very informative lecture, and various aspects of biofuels were new to me. Very informative and very well articulated lecture, ma'am. Thank you. Now, Nirupama Dalakoti to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Reena Dave, to our audience. Over to you, Dr. Dalakoti.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Anjana ma'am, for such a nice information about biofuels. Now, as we proceed towards the third lecture of the day, I am very pleased and honored to introduce our eminent speaker, Dr. Reena Dave, Associate Professor and Head of Department of Biology, Sri M. and N. Virani Science College, Rajkot. Dr. Reena Dave is PhD from JJT University, Rajasthan, and her research area was angiospermic diversity, taxonomy, ethnobotany, plant ecology, and medicinal botany. Dr. Reena is member of Board of Study in Botany as well as Biotechnology at Saurashtra University, Rajkot, and she is also chairperson in Study Board of Botany at Sri M. and N. Virani Science College, Autonomous College, Rajkot. Dr. Dave has contributed her expertise as judge in more than 25 national and international conferences and symposiums. Dr. Reena Dave has delivered more than 50 lectures in IGNOU Gyanvani Radio Talk and more than 50 radio talk on Vivid Bharati and U Vani Rajkot. She is life member of Indian Women Scientists Association and member of NGO named Go Healthy Group and contribute educational activities with society. Dr. Reena Dave is also associated with Nirantar Shikshan Kendra academic staff, College Rajkot as resource person. Dr. Reena Dave has published 5 textbooks of botany and she actively participated in examination department of Saurashtra University and participated more than 30 national and international seminars, symposiums and workshops. Dr. Reena has published 6 national and 5 international papers in various reputed scientific journals. Dr. Reena Dave is giving extensive contribution for cultural activities and socio-economic counseling and has contributed for functionally active personality as subject expert in various job placement interviews. Ma'am, we are very privileged to have you on this conference. Now I request Dr. Reena Dave to deliver her lecture. Ma'am, please.
मैम अपना माइक अनम्यूट कर लीजिए प्लीज.
Yes, sir. Sir, okay? Hello.
It's okay.
Namaskar, everyone. First of all, let me express my gratitude towards Government PG College, Baspur, Uttarakhand, and Society for Research in Biological Science, organized International E-Conference, Research Trend in Life Science, Researches, Challenges, and Promises. I also express my gratitude to another keynote speaker, Akruti Srivastav from USA, Dr. Anjana Bhatia from Jalandhar, Dr. Jyoti Alhawad from Gurugram, Principal Sri Dr. A.K. Mishra, Principal PGC Baspur, Ji, Shri Gyan, and team convener Dr. SG, Dr. Atul Upreti ji, and show of effective is a reporter. Greetings to and participants.
मैम थोड़ा अपना माइक अपने पास कर लीजिए, आपकी वॉइस साफ नहीं आ रही है।
ठीक है सर। और ठीक है।
हाँ, थोड़ा जोर से बोल दीजिए।
It gives me a great pleasure to present my talk in front of all of you about herbal medicinal plants, which contains very comprehensive account of their values regarding all over the globe. Heritage medicinal properties of plants are naturally occurring derived substances with minimal or no industrial processing that have been used to treat illness within a local or regional healing practitioners. So scope and future of herbal medicines are getting sufficient and significant attention in global health debates. Today's current situation, the COVID-19 all society recommends Ayush Ministry for immunity. We all know that the prevention cure. Ayurveda beings the science of the life propagates the gift of nature. However, due to the recent surge in the people's interest and awareness about and herbal treatments, the plant-based medicines are back in demand. There is no plant in the world which is non-medicinal or which cannot be used. So this can in Ayurvedic literature. Medicine is expected to maintain.
मैम आप अपना वीडियो ऑफ, मैम प्लीज कीप योर वीडियो ऑफ so that your sound would be better, I think so, because there is some network problem from your side. Your voice is not coming properly. आप अपना वीडियो ऑफ कर दो तो आपकी वॉइस सही से आ जाएगी। अपना स्लाइड सही चल रही है।
हाँ सर।
वॉइस के साथ प्रॉब्लम है बस थोड़ा सा, लेकिन आपने अपनी स्लाइड्स ऑफ कर दी
सर। आप हाँ वॉइस ऑफ कर दो।
आपकी वॉइस प्रॉब्लम कर रही है, फिर से स्लाइड शेयर कर दीजिए। और
यस सर, श्योर।
मैम अगर हेडफोन लगा लें आप तो मेरे ख्याल से इट इज बेटर फॉर अस।
हाँ, हेडफोन लगाना चाहिए।
हाँ हेडफोन।
माइक के साथ में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है।
एक अनाउंसमेंट है, सभी जो भी पार्टिसिपेंट्स हम लोग के साथ जुड़े हुए हैं, चैट बॉक्स में इतनी बार आपसे रिक्वेस्ट किया जा रहा है कि आप अपने प्लीज वीडियो को ऑफ रखें, माइक को ऑफ रखें। तो अगर आप नहीं करेंगे तो मेरे ख्याल से हम आपको ऑटोमेटिकली रिमूव कर देगा, क्योंकि बार बार ये अनाउंसमेंट किया जा रहा है, चैट बॉक्स में डाला जा रहा है कि आप अपना वीडियो ऑफ रखें प्लीज।
सर ठीक है?
ठीक है, now it's okay, please.
Yes.
Oh yes. Yes. Medicine is expected the medicine. It's
नहीं मैम, आपकी वॉइस क्लियर नहीं है.
there are indicating. Sir, just a minute. Huh? Yes, sir. It's okay. Hello. Yes,
Hello.
sir, okay.
बहुत हल्के आवाज आ रही है आपकी. आवाज हल्के भी आ रही है और कट भी रही है आवाज. आप बोलिए देखते हैं. बोलिए.
हाँ सर. Now of medicinal plant. Future scenario is the popularity of the plant-based medicine is expected rising trends.
आपकी आवाज कट के आ रही है मैडम. आपकी आवाज कट के आ रही है, कंटिन्यूअस नहीं आ रही है.
सर तो मैंने वो हेडफोन लगा दिया है सर.
तो फिर नेटवर्क का इशू होगा सर इसमें. तो बिल्कुल
नेटवर्क का इशू है. चलिए आप शुरू कीजिए. चलिए ठीक है, आप बोलिए.
Yes. We have your discussion. Retailer the herbal indicated that the phenomenal rise in the minimal side effects. The herbal medicine.
rejoin करो, बंद करें.
और rejoin. Watch. Some network problem is okay.
मैम आप थोड़ा सा अपना सिस्टम को सही कर लीजिए और उसके बाद दोबारा रीज्वाइन करिएगा. ठीक है?
Yes sir. Yes.
In between, Dr. Atul, in between, please call Dr. Jyoti.
जी सर, हम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं.
तब तक मैम अपना थोड़ा हम सही कर लेती हैं.
ठीक सर.
ठीक.
So sorry for this interruption. These are the issues we deal with these e-conferences. But nevertheless, I would like to call upon Dr. Nirupama Dalakoti to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Jyoti Ahlawat. Over to you, Dr. Dalakoti.
Okay, sir. I am pleased to introduce our eminent speaker, Dr. Jyoti Ahlawat, Assistant Professor at School of Agricultural Science, GD Goenka University, Gurgaon. Dr. Jyoti holds PhD from the Maharshi Dayanand University, Haryana. Dr. Jyoti Ahlawat is an expert in the area of plant tissue culture and molecular biology. She has taught these subjects for nearly 5 years at universities such as Maharshi Dayanand University, Rohtak, Haryana, and GD Goenka University, India. Dr. Jyoti served in research position at Tissue Culture and Cryopreservation Unit and Division of Genomic Resources, ICAR, NBPGR, New Delhi, in the field of tissue culture and cryopreservation and DNA-based genetically modified events detection, respectively. Dr. Jyoti holds expertise in DNA extraction, PCR, amplification, real-time PCR, gel electrophoresis, quantification, data analysis, DNA-based GM detection of genetically modified crops, and SS marker screening analysis in little millets. Ma'am, we are very privileged to have you in this conference. Now I request ma'am to deliver her lecture. Ma'am, please.
A very thank you to
Over to you.
Dr. Nirupama Dalakoti. Yeah, thank you so much for welcoming here, and it's a privilege for me to be a part of this international conference. Sir, I'm very thankful to Dr. Adarsh Pandey, but I'm putting my request here that I need 3-4 minutes to connect me to my camera because some problem is coming in getting connected to it. Just give me 3-4 minutes and I'll be back here, sir.
Sure, madam, sure. Yes.
Just 3-4 minutes. I'm just so because I'm using the institute this laptop and we need to have an IT permission to
Please.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Please.
Just 4 minutes.
Yes. Okay, please.
Dr. Atulapreti, in between, you please let know the speakers, the presenters of the conference who are going to present his or her research paper in the next session of this international e-conference.
Okay, sir. That will be fine. So, in the next session, we have 16 presentations, and I'm just taking names, and these speakers will present in this sequence. The first is Dr. Sanjeev K. Gupta from Department of Botany, GD College, Baliwala, J&K, India. Number 2, Dr. Abha Dikshit, HBTU Kanpur. Number 3, Dr. Anik Sarkar, Department of Botany, University of Calcutta, West Bengal. Number 4, Ria Johnson, Department of Botany, University of Calicut, Kerala. Number 5, Dr. Asha Rani, Department of Botany, Bareilly College, Bareilly. Number 6, Dr. E.J. Josikuti, Department of Botany, Thalassery, Kannur. Number 7, Yusuf S., School of Business Studies, Sharda University, Noida, UP. Number 8, Dr. Ritu Sharma, Department of Biosciences, Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. Number 9, Sanjeev Kumar Gupta, Department of Botany, Government Degree College, Bilawar, Jammu and Kashmir. Number 10, Munawwar Faisal, Department of Botany, College of Commerce, Arts and Science, Patna. And number 11, Dr. B. Priyadarshini, Department of Botany, Annamalai University, Tamil Nadu. Number 12, Shail Vajpayee, Dr. Shail Vajpayee, Department of Zoology, SN Sain College, Kanpur. Number 13, Dr. Rumana Akhtar, Department of Zoology, Government PG College, Kishtwar, Jammu and Kashmir, India. Number 14, Dr. B. Kavita, Department of Botany, Raisina University, Kurnool, Andhra Pradesh, India. Number 15, Dr. Vivek Kumar, MLSN College, Mandi, Himachal Pradesh. And number 16, Dr. Neha Kapoor, Department of Biotechnology, School of Applied Science, Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur, Rajasthan. So these are the speakers, and these will read their presentation in the given sequence. Certificates for presentation will be provided separately, and for participation, these will be through feedback only. So thank you and all the best to all. Over to you, Dr. Adarsh Pandey.
We are waiting for Dr. Jyoti now. Dr. Singh, आप कुछ पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन के समय और उसके बारे में कुछ बताना चाहेंगी? Would you like to say something? Dr. Jyoti.
Thank you very much, Dr. Adarsh Pandey, for bearing this inconvenience. And once again, I thank everyone to give me this chance to speak to everyone and present my views or present current scenario which is going on due to COVID-19, which is a very important topic nowadays, and how it is impacting the agriculture. Right. So there was a very good introduction. I again thank this whole organization, whole event organizers to welcome me here, and I'm here to present. So just a moment, I'll share my screen so that the presentation can be visible to everybody. Is it visible?
Yes,
Yes, please.
Okay. So in today's presentation, we will be, I will be presenting the impact of COVID-19 on agriculture. As we all know that agriculture plays a major role in the GDP of world or Asia, wherever we talk about it, is the major key holder or the stakeholder where we contribute a major portion. So before moving ahead, let us talk about coronavirus. What is this coronavirus? We all are so scared and so afraid of this particular term, COVID-19. So this is basically just can be dealt by a positive attitude in every spectrum or every stream. When we talk about in society, so we have been given few key points which we can focus on and we can avoid it, because it's been 5 to 6 months and we already are into a phase of it to survive this pandemic, and how by focusing on various important key points.
I think some network problem with Dr. Jyoti. The voice is not clear, madam. मैडम आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं हो रही है, शायद आपके नेटवर्क के साथ कुछ इशू हो रहे हैं आपके.
Sir, I'm just trying again. Just let me know. Am I audible now to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Audible, ma'am.
Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll move ahead. All right. Hope my slides are also visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we were discussing. See, we all know that COVID-19 is unique because we know that it affects the, it is a unique virus because we know that it is affecting the supply, it is affecting the demand, it is affecting the market, and it is creating a shock, right? So the global economy was already in a precarious place in 2019, and the risk of global recession in 2020 is extremely high. We know that as nations shut down economic activity to limit the spread of COVID-19. As production is curtailed around the world, many necessary firms, they have their inputs which are getting suffered because of this. So we will be discussing various key points or various factors in this whole presentation. The contents will be, we will be discussing about the visualizing of the importance of agriculture in the world's and the Indian economy. As we discussed just now, that the Indian economy, or it is world's economy, the agriculture is the prime factor which is playing a major role in the GDP. We'll be discussing about the COVID-19 pandemic, impact on important sectors of agriculture, the current and potential impact, then key policy recommendations. In this, we will be discussing various agricultural organizations and their recommendations and the steps which have been taken by them to ease this pandemic zone which is going on. So how well the COVID-19 impacts have been addressed in agriculture, food security, and livelihoods in India. Food Agriculture Organization, how it is responding to COVID-19 and how effectively it is working to ease or to normalize the situation and to make people or the various firms of this whole era to ease it and to face it with a confident and a matter solving position. When we talk about agriculture as yes, somebody was unmuted, I think, in between. When we talk about agriculture as a share of GDP, it varies from country to country. We all know this. The country segmentation demonstrates a pattern, that is, countries become less agriculture based, the relative importance of agriculture GDP decreases, and there is a reduction in agricultural employment. There is a continuing decline in the size of the primary agriculture sector's GDP and employability. We all know that developing countries are more likely than developed countries to rely on agriculture as a larger percentage of GDP. As we can see here in the map which is given here, the lighter shades indicate a smaller share of GDP, the country contributing to the GDP in a smaller share, and the darker shades are the larger contributors towards GDP. When we talk about India, so India contributes to 20% to 50% of towards GDP in agriculture. When we talk about the role of agriculture in Asia, so here we see that again the major portion which is depending upon on agriculture and the employability. We know that agriculture holds a very less percent in the GDP, but employability, it holds 40 to 50% of share. So this makes agriculture as an important sector, important factor to discuss here, how it is getting affected in COVID-19 zone, the pandemic, how it is affecting. Here, by this graph, we can easily find out like how the India GDP from last 3 years been getting affected because of agriculture. It is estimated that India's agriculture sector accounts only for around 14% of the country's economy, but 42% for total employability. So after discussing the major role of agriculture in like how it is affecting the GDP, particular GDP of a particular country. So now we move ahead. Now we all know that why we are discussing agriculture as a major event or major part here. So the 7 primary sectors of agriculture which are contributing most to real wealth, good morals and happiness. Here we will be discussing about agriculture, the 7 primary sectors. Dairy manufacturing, equines, forestry, horticulture, seafood, and sports turf. When we talk about sports turf is the artificial grass which has been used in various grounds or various places. Like we all know that Dubai is totally made up of artificial grass. So the whole vegetation is because of this artificial or the sports turf. So it is these are the major 7 sectors of agriculture we'll be discussing here. So COVID-19 pandemic, the first which we are going to discuss is COVID-19 pandemic impact on important sectors of agriculture. COVID-19 pushes agriculture sector further into fiscal woes. When we talk about the stock or the availability of the
Dr. Jyoti, your slides are not changing.
And she's mute also.
And you are muted too. Dr. Jyoti, can you hear me? Dr. Jyoti?
Yes, sir, I'm coming back. Actually, some network issue occurred and my slides are not getting changed. I'm just sorting it out. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience.
Ma'am, your slides are paused.
Yeah, they are paused.
Dr.
That's
Jyoti?
why I'm trying. So can you hear?
Dr. Jyoti?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Jyoti, your slides are paused.
Is it working now, sir? Just a moment.
Dr. Jyoti, your slides are not changing and you are mute too.
I think I'm audible now and my slides are changing.
You are
No, your
audible,
voice
but
is not clear.
changing.
Sir, is it changing now?
Some problem in audio and video are
No,
paused.
ma'am.
Sir, nothing is visible. Excuse me, can you make me this thing clear that whether it is changing or not, sir?
No, you are on 10th slide this
Slides
time.
are not changing.
You are on 10th slide.
You are
Wait,
still on
let
the
me-
first slide.
No, right now it is on 10th slide or first slide. So
10th
just
slide. 10th slide. I can see the 10th slide. The COVID-19 causes agriculture sector further into physical worse.
okay, just a moment. Sir, has it changed? Has it changed to the 11th one?
No,
No.
no.
So then I have to do one thing. I have to share my screen again, and I'll come back to this.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, please, please.
Take your time.
Yeah, sure. I have to stop presenting, and then again I have to share it. I hope it is coming now.
Yes, it is visible. Now change it.
Okay. So we are on the slide COVID-19.
Yes, 11th slide.
Perfect, perfect. All right. Actually, there was a problem in the net, and I don't know how to. It suddenly got stopped. All right. So we were discussing about the COVID-19 pushes agriculture sector further into fiscal woes, where we were discussing that the problems in agriculture at the moment are primarily related to labor availability, the inability to access markets for produce due to issues in transportation, as well as operation of markets. So the non-availability of labor has hurt operations in many parts, right? Some parts of agriculture that have the luxury of deploying technology for harvesting, like paddy and wheat, the crop of kharif and rabi, they have been the more sufferers because of the manual labor which was not transported. They were not allowed to transport, and the increasing use of mechanical harvesters for paddy has helped in the present circumstances, though their interstate movement has been severely curtailed. So when it comes to the prices, prices of agricultural commodities, it dropped by 20% due to COVID-19 outbreak. The traders across the country, they struggle, and they were trying to combat the to minimize the effect. We know that various markets at various states were suffering a lot, and they were finding out various ways to, come out of it. And due to that, the whole stock got deteriorated and it would vanish totally. Then when we talk about the impact of COVID-19 on food and agriculture, there were various sectors which were suffered on a higher percent, and some were suffered on the lower percent. Some were, why we are talking that they were suffered to the lower percent, because their supplies were carried out by one or the other means, because they were the prime important things which a person need in a daily life, and we cannot survive avoiding those. So the low percent which was affected was the cereal, vegetables like milk, fruits. They were the daily usage, right? So they cannot be avoided. So those markets were kept open by the government, norms and conditions which have been implemented. And the raw materials, basically the raw materials like oil and the other industry factories, the fertilizer factories, they were at stake at that time, and they were not given, full access to the market. So these were the industrial commodities which were at the stake, and they suffered because of that. Then various sectors in bakery, even bakery products were not allowed. They were not considered as the main important part to be involved in daily consumption. When we talk about essential foods, food delivery, online groceries, they were started up, and for some time it was even being put at stop. There were various good measures which have been taken and by the particular organizations to cope up with the ongoing pandemic. So they were not largely impacted because the e-commerce based food delivery platforms were allowed at that time, and they were given special instructions to follow the various norms to restrict the spread of COVID-19. They were properly sanitizing the stuff. They were properly being equipped with the PPE. And finally, whenever they were visiting, they were allowed to visit at the gate of the particular society, and they were not allowed to access the particular home, just to avoid this chain of spread. When we talk about the agri-foods or agri-inputs, the high percent or the impact on the sector was online food delivery also, because we know that e-commerce was allowed, but still the people were facing problem in, surpassing the territory. Like one state was not allowed to enter the access to the other state. So they were facing a lot of problems, and the whole delivery was not even being possible. We all know that when the mandis were open, that time the spread of COVID-19 was huge. The percent which enhanced was the huge. So once they gave a leniency that it could be opened, but once the spread shoots up high, then it was again put on hold. So this was the major sector which was affecting or getting affected. When we talk about the current and the potential impact, so we know that the agriculture inputs are higher in the society. The primary agriculture, basically, which deals with the seeds, agrochemicals, fertilizers, the impact is likely to be low on both primary agriculture production of usage of agri inputs, like we talk about seed, pesticide, and fertilizers. The migratory labor movement for harvesting wheat, paddy, pulses was affected majorly, insulating the rural food production areas. It holds a great answer to the macro impact of COVID-19 on Indian food sector as well as large economy. Post Ministry of Agriculture press release, crop procurement and mandi operations are yet to be streamlined. They were not streamlined by that time because, as we discussed just now, that because of the spread of this, the huge shoot up in that percent of the sufferers or the percent of the cases. So it was put on hold, and it needs to be streamlined. And this may result in low sowing in the upcoming crop season because these were put on hold. And also impact sale of agriculture inputs in the Kharif and the Rabi season. There are few issues on interstate movement of skilled and semi-skilled labor that need to be sorted out. That is still not been sorted out at complete rate because it's been allowed in few states and few states are totally not allowing them. Raw material supplies are not impacted as of now, as the measures taken by central government should ease supply chain issues. Key policy recommendations. In key policy recommendations, we will see, we know that the various organizations are there, various agriculture organizations which have implemented few of the strategies to cope up, not to make the whole economy suffer. So they have sorted out few issues, and when we talk about national policy on food supply chain, we know that state and center, they classified their, basically they classified the food items, like what are the important food items and which can be supplied with a zero hurdle with no obstacles, and some are, they can be put on hold. For example, when we talk about the poultry, when we talk about the bakery, so they can be when we talk about the major food items which are required, which are a part of the daily life, so as per this they were categorized and they were segregated, and finally the norms were being set and the recommendations were being given to it. We know that the existing infrastructure of GST, FASTag was used for smooth movement of essential food items. We all must be knowing that at a particular state border, we have the toll plazas there, and we could easily identify nowadays that the FASTag track is totally different, which ease the movement, and it is just a quick movement. It allows the quick movement of the vehicles and the raw material which is required, instead of being in the whole line and facing the whole trouble. So there were easing financial stress also in the sector. There was support for food and agri inputs, delivery personals. There were various other sectors which have been, eased, and their supply were made more accessible to the public by e-commerce facility. When we talk about the addressing, how the government or various organizations are addressing this COVID-19 impact on agriculture, food security, so there are various mitigations which hit on the economy. When we talk about the IFPRI, so This is basically the International Food Policy Research Institute, and here it suggests that India must be prepared to scale it up as an event unfolds, easing the economic impacts through even greater public program support and policies that keep market functioning. FAO, which is Food and Agriculture Organization, it analyzes it. It is having a different way of working. See, first it analyzes the situation, then it collects the data. The data basically analyzing is through a series of technical and policy brief, which presents qualitative assessment of the pandemic impacts. Then it has a assessment. So that assessment is being carried out. It conducts the assessment, which is basically through the data lab or using the big data, through artificial intelligence. So it carried out a global assessment that identifies and track policy responses countries adopted during past crises. So it is studying, it is basically a review of literature, or we can call it as a study, which was from the past, how the past pandemic have been addressed by various countries. So it is like a thorough study, analyzing, conducting various surveys, and then finally coming up with a particular, their own strategy of dealing with it, so that the affected families can meet the critical household needs without selling off key assets. This was the major issue, because the job was lost by various people, and they were, the key assets were being sold to meet their personal life responsibilities or their livelihoods to make it easy. The food was not even available to people, for all the 3 meals were not available. And we know that our government has taken a lot of initiatives, and they've successfully come out in providing everyone at least to deal or to have the access towards the regular livelihood or the basic needs of a particular day. When we talk about Niti Aayog, it suggested that the Mandi norms relaxation should be there for farmers for 6 months at least. It was initially was declared for 6 months, but now it is not for 6 months. It's been extended now. And the Niti Aayog members, they further suggested that farmers be allowed to take the processed or the cleaned up produce directly to the warehouse. Instead of finding a mediocre in between, they are being given a freedom to access directly to the warehouse. The International Dairy Federation, when we talk about IDF, the International Dairy Federation, and the dairy associates, the processors, they have been issued public statements and for consumers on the safety measures put in place and commitments of the actors of the dairy chain. Because once you're dealing with the supply, and then you all have to, whenever you are associated with a particular organization, you have to stick to the norms and the conditions which have been finalized by that. If you are not following that, you are out of that chain, because you are not there to take the measures which are there, to stop the spread of COVID-19. They have passed on their own guidelines for the prevention of COVID-19. They have passed on their own norms and conditions which were strictly followed by the person who are associated with that particular, the chain or the particular organization which was dealing in meeting the livelihoods of the people. When we talk about MPI, the Ministry of Primary Industries, so these are the various organizations, the agricultural organizations, and how they helped the whole nation to cope up or to mitigate the COVID-19 pandemic effects which were prevailing majorly in the society. When we talk about MPI, it has set up a registration system for those businesses which intend to continue to operate during the lockdown, because various businesses are there which can't be stopped. If we are going to stop those businesses, it will affect the livelihood of the people, and it would have created a large havoc in the society to cope up. So just to avoid those all issues, they have continued the operation of those businesses. Workplaces, they instructed that workplaces must strictly follow the guidelines to avoid the spread of COVID-19. So if they are going to follow that, they can continue working, they can continue operating. Then all essential businesses who wish to operate under the level for COVID-19, they should send their registration forms, and they should send their whole write-up, how well they are going to deal with the situation, what are their basic points which will be more kept into mind, which will be more considered, and how they are going to withstand this pandemic zone or this pandemic era or this pandemic time which is going on. When we come to the ICAR, we know that it's Indian Council of Agriculture Research. It is a major organization in India for agriculture associates. So it has issued crop-specific advisories to farmers, asking them to take general precautions and safety measures. They ask them to do this whole thing during harvesting, post-harvesting operations, storage, and marketing of Rabi and Kharif crops. So ICAR further said that its institutes are providing food and ensuring hygiene in nearby laborer colonies. And they are, the whole staff of ICAR, they have contributed one-day salary, which was amounting like 6.6 crore to PM CARES and to, combat the COVID-19 issues. And then they have offered all their guest houses in different states for quarantine use. So they have exempted the agriculture operations from harvesting to movement of produce to mandis from lockdown rules. So these were the various steps have been taken. These were the various steps which have been taken by the reputed agriculture organization to combat COVID-19 effects.
Ma'am, we have 2 more minutes left.
Fine, sir. I'll just wind up. So when we talk about the market intelligence, see, we all know that COVID-19 and the risk of food supply chains, how we have to respond, how the market is responding to it, how the market intelligence is responsible, or it's like quite obvious that market has to be intelligent enough to deal with the situation. So we know that as the economic impact of COVID-19 pandemic emerges and global restrictions take a heavy toll on industries, our news, data, and analysis give you the essential intelligence you need to make sense of the markets. As the situation continues to evolve, marketresearch.com is a site which has been provided, and we been provided the update data over there of market intelligence on COVID-19, how it could help the business, how it could help the business leaders to assess the corona fight. So when we are actually towards the end of this, and we all know that it's like brainstorming is the nexus of ideas. There is a question to everybody who is present in this conference: will COVID-19 cause another food crisis? So this is an early review. We all have to think wisely, and we all have to, work towards, because lots of news are there. What today we are doing, the social media is creating a lot of impact on our minds, because the reality is different, and the news has been taken by the social media is totally different. Today we are hearing a positive about it, and the next day it's totally changed. And the same way our mind is also getting carried away. So it's the right time that we have to think, and we have to carry out a brainstorming session, which should come out with ideas, and we should know that how COVID-19 can be. Do you think that it will cause another food crisis? What I feel, my views are totally different, and your views also could be different from mine. So this is a right time to think wisely and come up with your ideas. And this is an open topic which is given to you to think. At the end, this is my last slide, where I have involved a famous quote by our famous agriculturist, the famous scientist, M. Swaminathan. He said, my advice is to develop greater pride and confidence in our farmers and farming, based on how they converted a ship-to-mouth existence into a legal right to food. Farmers and farming were given low prestige in the past. And you know what he said? He said that this situation should change, and we should regard every farmer as a scientist. As we know that agriculture department here, the main scientist is the farmer who is creating that particular crop with dealing all the environmental constraints. And finally, he's coming out with a good yield. So the 6 major impacts of agriculture, market and farm prices, supply chain shutdowns, shortages, farmers' health, the farmer workforce, worker safety, and the personal protective equipments. They have to be dealt wisely. And let's today take an oath to unite against COVID-19 and come out with flying colors. Thank you so much for hearing and your patience.
Thank you, ma'am, for a very informative presentation. though the slides keep on sticking.
Okay.
I'm still on 15 or 16 slide. I don't know. ये सिर्फ मेरे साथ है या सबको दिखाई किसी और को भी नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है. But I think we are having some problem with network.
Fine. Okay. But
thank you. Thanks anyways for sharing your views.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure whether Dr. Reena Dave with us is back with us or not. Dr. Dave, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh, okay, ma'am. You can resume your presentation. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Reena Dave, kindly sum up your presentation in 5 or 6 minutes, please. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Okay. So let's continue with our topic. Let's continue our topic, scope and future of medicinal plant. So, as you know, and the herbal products have minimal side effects, and it's boosting our immune system. So, the demand in all over the world. So, what is medicinal plant? I just sum up. So, as we know that the herbal medicinal plants are potential metabolites include coumarins, flavonoids, steroids. These are plant, regional medicinal plant, lemon, holy basil, mint, etc. Number proposed for the term medicinal plant. So, is any plant which is organ parts contain substances that can purposes for the plant. There are of 3 types. Synergic medicine means work together. All interact simultaneously, can complement or damage other than natural support of some medicinal or official medicine plants. So, medicinal proven that the compound by their ability to prevent the appearance the usage of the chemical remedies which will be used when the disease is already present. Some importance and scope of medicinal plant in India. So, the non-medicinal plants can be cultivated and
I'm sorry, ma'am, you are not audible at all. Hello, Adarsh sir, is voice clear to you? Is ma'am's voice clear to you?
Sir?
No, it's not clear to me. So I think it is time to wind up and say thank you to Dr. Reena Dave. It was very informative lecture indeed, but due to some technical problems, we are not able to hear her voice. So kindly say thank you to Dr. Reena Dave. Thank you so much. Dr. Obrati, over to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Ma'am, your voice is not clear, so we'll try to adjust you in the next session if we can.
Okay.
So moving on to our yes, sorry, very sorry, ma'am. So moving towards to the next session, I would like to call Dr. Nirupama Dalakoti to sequentially call all the presenters.
Dr. Obrati, please call Dr. Preeti Singh for next session.
Dr. Preeti Singh. Okay.
Dr. Preeti Singh.
So I would like to call upon Dr. Preeti Singh from Kanpur to call upon all the presenters sequentially.
Dr. Preeti Singh, it's over to you. It's your session now, second session. Now call all the participants and also speak about the rules and regulations if you have prepared it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good noon, everyone. Me, Dr. Preeti Singh, co-organizing secretary of this international e-conference on recent trends in life science research, challenges and promises. We got a number of abstracts as well as research papers, but after screening, only 16 papers are selected for presentation. The organizing committee deputed me this responsibility to conduct this session. So I welcome all the presenters and wish them best of luck. Dear presenters, you all will get 5 minutes plus 1 minute. Means you have to complete it in 5 minutes, or in some cases, if you have some points, then you can complete it in 1 minute. Kindly try to sum up in time. In our jury, we have 2 eminent workers from IIT Delhi.
Ma'am, excuse me, Preeti Singh ma'am, 5 plus than 5 minutes for presenter and 1 minute for question session. Thank you.
Okay. And we have 2 eminent workers in our jury, Dr. Kavya Dashohara and Mr. Gyan Datta Tripathi. Both are associated with IIT Delhi. I welcome both of you. May I now start the presentation, sir?
Take permission from Dr. Kavya, who is in the jury. I am not now in the session. Okay, I am just present to see the papers. Dr. Kavya, please allow us. Can you hear me? Dr. Kavya.
Hello, ma'am.
Mr. Gyan and Dr. Kavya.
Hello. Dr. Kavya was there, but I can't see her now. Okay, sir, we should start.
Yes. We can't wait. Dr. Atul Preti and we are here. Don't worry.
Yes. All our participants and all the members of jury, all are judging this presentations. Okay. So the first speaker is Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Gupta, Department of Botany, Government Degree College, Bilawa, Jammu and Kashmir. Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Gupta ji, please start your presentation, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are there.
Good morning. I am going to share my screen.
Jyoti Elawat, ma'am, your screen is still on. Please stop presentation.
Fine, ma'am. I'm doing.
So, am I visible? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Yes.
We can see your screen, but your voice is not so clear.
Good.
अरे मैडम प्रेजेंटेशन स्टार्ट हो गया, आप कहाँ हैं?
संजीव कुमार गुप्ता.
अरे अभी इतनी देर से आपको आवाज लगाई जा रही है, आप हैं ही नहीं. प्रेजेंटेशन है तो आपको ही फैसला देना है, तो आपको तो आप ये बुला रही मैडम आपको बार बार, आपकी आवाज ही नहीं आ रही, तो सुन ही नहीं पा रहे, तो आप कैसे कौन
काव्या मैम, यू आर वेलकम हियर.
मेरे को आवाज आ रही है, मैं कहती हूँ कि मुझे स्लाइड सारी दिखाई दे रही है. हम दोनों इतने अच्छे प्रेजेंटेशन की तरह तो आपको कॉम्प्लीमेंट वहां से तो अपना छन्नी लेके साइड
संजीव कुमार गुप्ता जी
यूज कर रही थी, इसलिए वो उन्होंने फोन पे रख के बोला कि तुम्हारा फोन आ रहा था. नहीं मैं तो
ओके मैम, प्लीज
फोन
Please
मेरी
watch.
सास के पास है, वो सुन रही थी, वो मुझे बात कर रही थी।
ठीक है, अब आप जल्दी से 3 पेपर हमें डिजाइन करके मुझे व्हाट्सएप कर दीजिएगा ना, तो मतलब सर्टिफिकेट बनाना होगा ना।
जी जी जी, अभी कर दे।
काव्या मैम, काव्या मैम, काव्या मैम, हेलो काव्या मैम।
प्रीति सिंह मैम सब देख रही हैं, उनके स्पीकर में कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ गई है, उनका फोन आया था, वो देख रही हैं और अपना डिसीजन दे देंगी। आप प्लीज कैरी ऑन।
सर जब वो आपसे बात कर रही थी तब उनकी वॉइस आ रही थी, मतलब वो उल्टा हो रहा है उनके साथ जब वो म्यूट कर रही
पता
है।
नहीं उनके, पता नहीं क्या है, बहरहाल आप अपना कंटिन्यू रखिए, वो कर देंगे अपना।
संजीव गुप्ता सर, अभी आपकी वॉइस नहीं आ रही थी। योर टाइम स्टार्ट्स नाउ। संजीव गुप्ता सर प्रेजेंट प्लीज। डॉक्टर संजीव गुप्ता, डॉक्टर संजीव गुप्ता, डॉक्टर संजीव गुप्ता प्लीज स्टार्ट योर प्रेजेंटेशन।
अगर वो नहीं सुन पा रहे हैं तो नेक्स्ट स्पीकर को बुला लीजिए।
The second speaker is Abad.
But he's presenting, sir. Until he stops presenting, next speaker will not be able to present.
नहीं, दूसरा प्रेजेंट करेगा तो इनका अपने आप गायब हो जाएगा।
Okay.
Then we should move on.
Speaker is Dr. Abha Dixit from HPTU Kanpur.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. My presentation is there on biological control. Can you see? Hello?
Yeah.
My screen is visible, ma'am?
Yes. Your voice is clear, but the screen is not visible.
Ma'am, please check. The screen is visible now or not?
No, screen is not visible.
They are not visible. I don't understand. Ma'am, screen visible?
Yes, screen is visible now.
Okay, thank you so much to give me this huge pleasure to present here. I, Dr. Abha Dixit, today I am going to present a very short presentation on the biology. It's a gram-positive border is the polyphagous in nature. It's generally affect chickpea, peasant pea, cotton, tobacco, etc. And on an average, it losses are 30% of the total pest. So only the biological control, it may be the answer. A biological control, that means the control by the pest, by the parasite or predator or pathogen for the purpose to reducing the pest population below economic injury level. As we all know, India is the largest producer of chickpea and accounting for 67% of global production, and it occupies nearly 30% of the total area. So, however, the average yield of chickpea is very low because of the reason that insect pests are the main causes of them. So, the biological agents which can be controlled, they are of many types like parasites, predators, and pathogens. Here we can see the huge difference between parasite and parasitoid. Parasitoid means a parasite over the parasite here. So the BRCA inhibitor is the biological controlling agent which can control the gram-positive borer Helicoverpa arvizara by using its larval issues. It paralyzes the larva within 1 hour and lay down the eggs on the larval body. So here we use the mass multiplication of BRCA inhibitor. It is important for the field release and conducting further researches. It can be done either by the artificial host or natural host. So the artificial diet was unsuccessful because of it unable to produce proper number of cocoons, etc. And the natural hosts like Coursera, Cephalonica, and Valeria are continuously multiplied in the lab. and the instances both size and steady survival of Recon inhibitor and lower temperature condition. So when we are considering the artificial diet, we are using three base diets, right? Number one, rice base and wheat and maize. So we can see the rice base diet, the number of Recon inhibitor image larvae are less, while wheat is somewhat more than the rice. And in case of maize based rice, it is higher than wheat. So male ratio is also the grade for the male. So here we use medium that so the first day, second day, third day, as well as we are increasing the day, the number of hormones stored are decreasing, and the adult emerge are.
Hello?
We are mass culturing and Coursera mass culturing.
Yes, sir. Hello. Abha, please conclude it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Next speaker is Anik Sarkar, Department of Botany, University of Calcutta, Kolkata, West Bengal.
Yes.
I request all the presenters, as per your serial number, please get ready.
Yes, I am ready, ma'am, but I am unable to share my screen. Hello, can you please stop sharing screen?
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Yes, Anik.
Yes. Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so thank you so much. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Here I am Anik Sarkar from Department of Botany, University of Calcutta. Today I am going to present my work entitled Nitric Oxide, the potent signal mediator in chitosan nanoparticles induce defense responses in Chile. Actually, this is the story of fooling our God, that is the farmers. Every day we are fooling our God. So, as we are all known that plant and pathogens, they are two beautiful co-evolutionary partners. Okay, and plant and pathogen, these co-evolutionary partners are the basis of innate immunity induction in the plant body. The present story composed of three major things. First one is the host, that is the chili plant, which is one of the most important plant of India and worldwide. And the second one is elicitor. Here we have applied chitosan nanoparticle as a potent elicitor molecule. Elicitors are those molecules which can mimic the pathogen action. And the third one is the potent signal mediator nitric oxide. This is the small bioactive and lipophilic gaseous molecule which is involved in various pathophysiological processes in plants, from plant developmental process to activation of plant defense responses. And the major objectives of the proposed study are induction of innate immunity in chili plants using a biotic elicitor chitosan nanoparticle, and understanding the mechanism behind this induction of of innate immunity. And these are the major steps involved in the study. At first, we have selected the healthy chili plants. Then the plants were treated with the elicitor and different nitric oxide modulators. As I have already told that nitric oxide can function as important signal mediator in various pathophysiological processes. Here we have applied sodium nitroprusside as our potent nitric oxide donor and LNAM, the nitric oxide synthesis inhibitor. And after 24 hours of incubation with this modulator and the elicitor molecule, defense profiling was recorded. And initially, the general physiological roles such as the seed germination and the vigor index was checked after application of elicitor. Here we can see that the chitosan nanoparticle treatment improved 15.95% germination rate and 1.88-fold seedling vigor over water-treated control set. And second, lignin, as we are all known that it is an important polyphenolic structure that can hinder the pathogen entry inside the plant body. Here we have seen that during the treatment of the elicitor and nitric oxide donor, lignin generation was elicited or the improved, and when we treated our plants with the nitric oxide inhibitor or nitric oxide synthesis inhibitor, we found that the lignin generation was compromised. In case of combination of chitosan nanoparticle and nitric oxide inhibitor treatment, we also found that the lignin development was compromised. Similarly, callose, an important beta-1,3 glucan polymer which can function as the temporary cell wall, that was also promoted in case of both nitric oxide donor and chitosan nanoparticle treatment, and it was compromised in case of nitric oxide synthesis inhibitor and the combination of elicitor and nitric oxide synthesis inhibitor treatment. And the next thing is that we have tried to estimate the status of nitric oxide generation, and here we can see that in case of chitosan nanoparticle treatment, nitric oxide generation was significantly induced like that of the nitric oxide donor treatment, and this nitric oxide generation was compromised in case of nitric oxide synthesis inhibitor and the combination of elicitor and nitric oxide synthesis inhibitor. And the biochemical basis of nitric oxide generation was further validated by using real-time nitric oxide generation. And here you can see that in case of both chitosan nanoparticle and sodium nitroprusside, the potent nitric oxide donor treatment, the nitric oxide generation was elevated. And in case of the inhibitor treatment or the combination with the chitosan and the inhibitor treatment, the nitric oxide generation was compromised. Different other defense-related enzymes such as the phenylalanine ammonia lyase or the peroxidase or the polyphenol oxidase, in every cases we found that both the nitric oxide donor treatment and the elicitor donor treatment and the elicitor treatment significantly upregulated the activities of these defense-related enzymes. And similarly, like that of the previous results, the nitric oxide inhibitor or the combinational treatment reduced the activities. And two important secondary metabolites such as total phenol and total flavonoid, we are all well known about the antimicrobial potential of these two molecules. Here we can also see that the chitosan nanoparticle treatment showed 2.15-fold increase.
Wind up.
Hello?
Wind up. Complete in 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am. Chitosan nanoparticle treatment showed 2.15-fold increased accumulation of the total phenolics over the control sets, and almost 1.3-fold higher accumulation of total flavonoid was observed in chitosan nanoparticle treated sets over the control. And the important stress marker such as the free proline content was also checked, and here you can see that increased accumulation of free proline content denotes the stress condition inside the host plant. The previous biochemical data was further validated by looking at the expression profile of different defense-related enzymes and the PR proteins. Here you can see that in every cases, chitosan nanoparticle treatment and the nitric oxide donor treatment induced or elevated the expression of this defense-related gene, and whereas the nitric oxide inhibitor treatment reduced the activity or reduced the expression of this gene expression. And this is the whole story at a glance. Elicited chitosan nanoparticle treatment on the plants are mimic of the pathogen action, improved nitric oxide generation, and finally the improved plant innate immunity. Lastly, I would like to conclude that chitosan nanoparticle treatment can be used as the alternative for the development of sustainable agriculture answer. And finally, we can say that the prevention is better than cure, because we can apply chitosan before the disease period to keep our plants and induce innate immunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is presenter is Ria Johnson, Department of Botany, University of Calicut, Kerala. Ria Johnson, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Start your presentation, please.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Ria Johnson, and I'm from the Plant Physiology and Biochemistry Division. My work is related to long-term exposure of high light, which imparts a detrimental effect on the antioxidant machinery of Vigna unguiculata, which is an unreleased variety. So moving on to my introduction, as we know, light is an essential ingredient for the plant survival. And when it comes to highlight stress, which is whenever the absorbed light energy surpasses the rate of photochemical reaction, that causes a photoinhibition, and that photoinhibition somehow causes the highlight stress. And this photoinhibition results in membrane destruction, structural damage to the chloroplast and other organelles, and reduction in photosynthetic activity. Now, this reduces the harmful effect of the excess energy by dissipating as heat or fluorescence and not transferring the same to the reaction center. Now, next is how this highlight stress causes a major effect in the case of the selected cowpea. And why we have selected cowpea is because it's an important legume. It has been called as poor man's meat because it is rich in protein. And moving on to our objective is, we are mainly involved in investigating the role of ROS production, then membrane damage, photosynthetic efficiency, and the antioxidant activity. So moving on to the materials and method, we have the plant material, that is Vigna unguiculata, and the seeds are being collected from Ariaris patambi. And when it belongs to its class, it's dicotyledonea, order Fabaceae, family Fabaceae, subfamily Faboideae, and then genus Vigna and species unguiculata. The growth condition, the seeds of uniform size were selected. They were surface sterilized by detergent, washed with mercury chloride, and then again washed with distilled water. And then the seedlings, they were raised in a culture bottle containing adsorbent cotton soaked with Hogland medium. So it is a condition where we have given the highlight treatment. And here the bottle is containing the seedling, which is of 10-day-old seedling, and then they were exposed to highlight of intensity 2000 micromole and 4, 2, 4, 6, and 8 hour, provided by the 1000-volt par 64 metal halide lamp. And the light intensity at the surface level of the leaves were measured by using solar radiation monitor. And all the analysis were done in 8-day-old seedling, 10-day-old seedling, which is exposed to highlight treatment. Now, moving on to the result, first we have reactive oxygen species, that is also causes damage, indicator of damage. First is superoxide. As moving on to the right side of the graph, we can see that is different colors. We have indicated the different hour treatment, that is 2, 4, 6, and 8. And the highest accumulation can be seen in the case of 8th hour, where the superoxide accumulated. Hello?
Hello?
Is it not audible?
No, you are audible now.
You are audible. Okay.
Please
So,
carry on. Please carry on.
So it's the 8th hour, again, it's the superoxide in the 8th hour, which has highest accumulation, which is around 64% as compared to that of control. But initially, it seems a linear increase. Then moving on to the next, we have hydrogen peroxide. It's also an reactive oxygen species, which is an indicator of membrane damage. And it's an accumulation where the 8th hour caused a highest accumulation of 70% as compared to that of control. But all other treatments shows a normal linear trend. The next is membrane damage, which has been analyzed by using the MDA, malonyl dialdehyde. And we can see there is a linear trend of increase, and the highest range was observed in the case of 8th hour. Next, we have photosynthetic pigment analysis by using Arnold method of total chlorophyll and carotenoid content. The first one, we have chlorophyll, and we have seen that the chlorophyll content was initially, they shows a positive effect up to that of 6th hour with 8% of increase. But in the case of 8th hour, we have a decrease of 21%. And this high reduction in chlorophyll was observed only in the case of 8th hour of highlight exposure. And in the case of carotenoid content, initially it was increasing, and then again the same trend was observed, which has the 8th hour, which shows a decrease in the content of carotenoid content. And as we know that carotenoids not only play a role in the case of light harvesting pigment, but also they protect the photosynthetic system against reactive oxygen species. Next, we have analyzed the non-enzymatic activity, and the non-enzymatic activity was analyzed by using assays such as ascorbate, glutathione, and phenolics. So from the graph itself, we can visualize that in the case of glutathione, the 8th hour, which has been indicated or visualized by the yellow color, it seems that the steep decrease in the case, whereas in the case of ascorbate and phenolics, it seems to see increase. That is a trend of linear increase. And again, in the case of enzymatic activity, SOD and CAT, that is superoxide dismutase and CAT, they shows a decrease, which has been indicated by the yellow color, whereas the ascorbate peroxidase and the GPX activity of the 8th hour till 8th hour, they shows linear increase. So from the above, we know that this highlight stress led to a pronounced decrease in the activity of superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione, then the antioxidants, but they led to a negligible increase in the case of peroxidase enzyme. And according to Pryor et al., the decrease in the SOD and CAT activity results from the photosynthetic electron transport impairment. And the increased activity of the ascorbate peroxidase and the glycol peroxidase, they somehow detoxify the hydrogen peroxide in the water, into water. Now moving on to the summary and the conclusion. The supraoptimal light condition, which is the 8th hour, they has a devastating effect on the cowpea growth and metabolism, including the photosynthesis. And in the present study, it reveals that the chlorophyll synthesis was sensitive only in the case of 8th hour, which is similar, and a similar trend has been observed in the case of carotenoid too. And this decreased photosynthetic activity is mainly because of, it can be correlated with a decrease in the case of photosystem, and also a case in the case of this PS1 and PS2 activity and a damaged photosynthetic protein. And next we have that ROS accumulation. Increased ROS accumulation has been observed in the case of...
Yeah, time is over now.
Okay, ma'am, it's just about to finish. One more slide. And this increased ROS accumulation somehow represents the increased activity of SOD and CAT, but the decrease in the activity of SOD and CAT as well as decrease in glutathione content, it could be attributed to increased destruction of the SH containing enzymes which are generated by the ROS. Now the conclusion is that even though the ascorbate and the phenolics and peroxidase activity was enhanced, but the lack of concerted action of all the complete antioxidant machinery was successful for detoxification of the ROS, which was not achieved. And from the above, it can be concluded that highlight stress affect photosynthetic efficiency negatively above a critical period, but they manifest a positive effect on exposure to short periods. Thank you.
Thank you, Ria. Next speaker presenter is Asha Rani, Department of Botany, Bareilly College, Bareilly. Yes, ma'am. Are you there? Ria, mute your mic.
Oh.
Dr. Asha Rani, Department of Botany. Are you there, ma'am? E.J. Joskutti, Department of Botany, Brennan College, Thalassery, Kannur. Are you there? Are you there? E.J. Joskutti. Okay. Yusuf S., School of Business Studies, Sharda University, Noida. Are you there? Ritu Sharma, Department of Biosciences, Himachal Pradesh University.
Yes, ma'am, I am there.
Start your presentation, please.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, wait for a moment. Ma'am, is my slide visible? Is my presentation visible?
Yes, it's starting now. Yes,
Okay,
it's
thank you.
visible.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all. I am presenting my paper on the topic traditional and indigenous practices of some medicinal plants as immunity boosters by folklore of Mandi district, Himachal Pradesh. The main emphasis in this paper is basically on the plants which are used by folklore to improve their immunity and to cure immunity related diseases like cough, cold, and allergies. The main focus was on the rural communities of Mandi district. This is some beautiful landscapes showing the biodiversity of the district, and these are some beautiful water lakes, natural water lakes of Mandi, which are quite sacred and famous as well. This is just a collage to show you the lifestyle and how the plants, they are deep rooted with the life of the people in the district. This is something about the previous botanical exploration, although work has been done, but till today special emphasis on cough, cold, and allergies is not emphasized yet. This I'm just coming to the results and discussions, and I am starting from the high altitude plant to the low altitude plant. So I am starting with the Achillea millefolium, also known as Gandhana. Let me tell you one thing here, that in hilly areas, all the kind of infusions or the decoctions, they are commonly called as kadha. Even if you are taking a tea infused with some herbs, you will also call this kadha only. The infusion made of it, the flowers and the young leaf of this plant is very popular to cure cough, cold, and fever in the high altitudes of Mandi district. Next one is Taxus valiciana, a highly sacred plant, highly endangered plant, quite famous for its taxol constituent, anti-cancerous constituent. But here I would like to tell you that the people consume the decoction of the leaves, especially during winters, to keep themselves away from cough and cold. Another pic is depicting a traditional ritual which is being conducted on the Shivratri, and this is known as the Chandoe there. So you can see the people, they worship this plant on the Shivratri as well. Next one is Viola canescens, one of the most trusted remedy for cough and cold since ages, and the decoction is useful for the infants as well. Basically it is orally taken with honey and tulsi. The next one is your Tinospora sinensis. During this COVID pandemic, when I had interacted few people regarding, okay, how are you keeping yourself safe from this thing? So the best answer was the Tinospora sinensis stems decoction. So how the people use it in hilly areas, they cut it into small pieces, boil it in water, and they consume it empty stomach. And this practice is being used by the folklore since ages, and these days many people, they boil the stem along with milk as well, and it is considered one of the best immunity boosters. Next one is Ocimum kilimandescarium, Baramasi tulsi. Most of the people in the hilly areas, they prefer the tea made of these leaves of this very plant, as it is available for the whole year. So obviously, due to availability, it is considered a good plant. The next one is your Piper longum. Magha is the vernacular name in Mandi. So the powder, this is one of the best plants as anti-allergic. The people, they make the powder of its fruit, and they consume it along with the misri to relieve from the urticaria. Any kind of urticaria, they claim it can be treated with the help of this Piper longum. The next one is Ocimum sanctum, one of the most cherished healing herb and most sacred herb. You can see in the pic that this is how the people they worship. This is how they consider it so sacred. And decoction of leaves is taken along with honey and pipli, that is the Piper longum, to cure the hoarseness of the throat and cough. The next one is Morus alba. During summer, this plant in the hills is the most cherished one for the immunity boosting. So the children, they consume it so happily. The next one is Curcuma longa. The more I will say about it plant, it will be definitely less. So the rhizome powder is taken along with the milk before bedtime to enhance the immunity, and it is a very good anti-allergic and wound healer as well. So the next one is Phyllanthus ambelica. There is a tradition in Mandi regarding this plant, that is Amla ki khichdi. It's a very popular ritual of Valley. Basically, in Mandi we believe that when the climate changes, like when the season changes, the allergic problems are at its peak. So during when the winters are about to come, this plant, the fruit, its consumption is important, and it is the part of the ritual of the district. So analysis says that 28% part is utilized is the leaf, followed by root and the flower, and the habit 33% arteries and the shrubs as well. So here I would like to say that the wild medicinal plants are basically the major players of the pharma industry because they are safe to use, and they are basically economic treatment offline and the source for income. Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So here is just a slide showing you how the global market is marketing these very much plants in the various forms. You can see, and the recent one you can see here is the Ayush Kudineer, which is approved by Government of India. And I must tell you that the ingredients are most of them which I just presented in my slide. So what's the message? Just novel drug discovery and novel drug delivery system is the next step for such kind of medicinal plants. See, we need to document them at any cost, because they are the only path to show us the next drug delivery system. So thank you all.
Thank you, Ritu. Stop sharing your slides and mute your mic.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Aisha Rani from Department of Botany, Bareilly College, Bareilly, is ready for her presentation. So present it now, ma'am. Dr. Aisha Rani. Dr. Aisha Rani. Ma'am, are you there?
Otherwise, call Dr. Yusuf. He's also ready. He just messaged me.
Okay. Dr. Yusuf, School of Business Studies, SB Adam, Sharda University, Noida, UP. Hello, Dr. Yusuf, are you there? Yes, Dr. Yusuf, are you there? Please unmute your mic. Yes, start your presentation, sir.
Dr. Yusuf has muted himself somehow. I don't know.
His mic is on now, but he is not.
But then we can move ahead, ma'am.
Okay. Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Gupta, Department of Botany, Government Degree College, Billawar, Jammu and Kashmir. Sir, you want to do this presentation? Yes, sir. You have some technical issues, sir. Your voice is cracking a lot. Please try to solve it. Dr. Yes, Sanjeev Gupta sir is presenting now. Dr. Sanjeev Gupta, are you presenting?
Yes. So the
Okay.
topic of my presentation is medicinal plants used by Gujarat tribe in the Shimali hills of Mansar, district of Jammu and Kashmir. It is
Yes.
the use of plants and source of medicines has been invented since the prehistoric times. The present study is a systematic attempt to explore the hidden wealth of traditional knowledge of medicinal plants prevailing in the Shimali hills of Jammu and Kashmir. The present study explores that knowledge. The interesting fundamental fact 80% of the world population has faith in traditional medicines, particularly blood drugs for their primary health care. The earliest mention of medicinal plants is found in Rig Veda, Atharvaveda, and Upanishad, and Himalayas, and diversity of plant species, and especially the proof of medicinal plants.
Adarsh sir, the voice is cracking a lot. Ramesh
Mr. Sanjeev Gupta, your voice is not clear. Mr.
Yes,
Gupta, your voice is not clear.
Study of the invaluable resource insight to
Mr. Gupta, are you listening for us?
Sanjeev Gupta, your voice is absolutely not audible. It is not clear. It's cracking. So we are very sorry, sir.
Okay.
Ma'am, I'm Yusuf Sani. Am I now audible?
Okay. Yes, Yusuf, sir.
Okay, okay.
Can you schedule your presentation?
Okay. Can I share my screen?
Yes, share please.
Okay.
Sanjeev Gupta, sir, please stop sharing.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yusuf Sani. I'm here to present a research paper titled Economic Growth and Environmental Degradation in Developing World, Evidence from Nigeria, which covers a period of 1981 to 2019. This is the presentation outline. I will start by introduction. I will just be skipping to the very important points because of the time factor. In developing countries, pollution has been in existence over a long period of time, and much effort has been put in place to study its relationship with the economic growth of various cities in the world. The Industrial Revolution and its technological advancement and the attempt by multinational corporations to exploit the economy coupled with urbanization have further been compounding issues, degrading the environment even more. So for this study, Nigeria will be used as a case study to examine how industrial activities and energy consumption affect the environment. Therefore, this study seeks to determine the relationship between economic growth and the environmental degradation in Nigeria. Specifically, the study has the following objectives: to examine the effect of energy consumption on the environmental quality, and to analyze the effect of industrialization on the environmental quality, and to examine the relationship between economic growth and environmental quality in Nigeria. So I have reviewed various empirical studies. So the methodology we adopt in this study is quantitative technique, and secondary data were collected on carbon emission, real GDP, industrialization, and energy consumption. Regression analysis was used using regressive distributed lag model and econometric use. That's image statistics software packet was used. This is the modest right carbon emission as a function of real GDP, industrialization, and energy consumption. So the economic model is as follows: carbon emission as a function of real GDP, industrialization, energy consumption, and first lag value of the dependent variable, which is carbon emission. So the result is as follows. I'll just go directly to the result. The coefficient of the first lag value of the dependent variable, which measures the speed of adjustment short line equilibrium by 85.09%, and is statistically significant in determining the independent variable. So we also found that the real GDP adheres to the positive, which implies a positive relationship with the dependent variable, but is statistically insignificant, while industrialization has negative relationship with the dependent variable or inverse relationship, and it is also statistically insignificant. The energy consumption found to be positive, and it is the only variable that is statistically significant in determining the dependent variable. So we have a various discussion of policy implication. Economic growth was found to have a positive relationship with the environmental degradation, as we have gotten from the result, which means that income is not the determinant of environmental degradation, probably because income is highly skewed in favor of few in developing countries, while the industrialization was found to have a negative or inverse relationship with environmental degradation during the period covered by these studies. But this study is also statistically insignificant. By implication, as the industrialization characterizes the environment degrading more in Nigeria, but it's statistically insignificant. Why? Because from 1980s onwards, the rate of industrialization has been decreasing. So probably that's the reason why industrialization is insignificant in determining the independent variable.
Dr. Yusuf, conclude it in 1 minute.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. I'll just go directly to the conclusion. This research confirms that environmental degradation has positive relationship with economic growth in Nigeria, while industrialization was found to have a negative relationship. The energy consumption is the only variable that is found to be significant in determining environmental degradation. Therefore, it can be concluded that the rate of economic growth and the rate at which energy is being consumed is spread over the period covered by this study have a positive relationship with the environmental degradation in Nigeria. However, the rate of this is negatively related.
Time over. Dr. Preeti, time over, please.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Stop sharing your slides and mute, please. Okay. Next is Munawwar Fazal. Dr. Munawwar Fazal, Department of Botany, College of Commerce, Arts and Science, Patna, Bihar.
Then please provide me feedback link, ma'am.
Dr. Munawwar, are you here? Dr. Munawwar. Next is B. Priyadarshini, Department of Botany, Annamalai University.
Dr. Preeti, don't wait for anyone. If he or she is not present, then call another speaker.
I am calling the next one. Dr. B. Priyadarshini, Department of Botany, Annamalai University, Annamalai Nagar, Tamil Nadu. Are you there? Dr. B. Priyadarshini. Next is Dr. Shail Bajpai, Department of Zoology, SNC in BBPG College. Ma'am, are you there? Dr. Shail Bajpai.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Preeti. I am present.
Yes, please present.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are clearly audible. Please show your slides now.
Good afternoon, everyone. In e-conference.
Share your slides, please.
Yes, yes. Yes. Yes, screen sharing is? Is my slide visible? Is my slide visible?
No, slides are not visible now.
Okay, I am trying. Yes, Preeti?
Yes,
my
yes.
slide is visible?
Yes, they are visible now.
Okay, okay. My presentation is a topic plant origin pesticides, biopesticides, evolution of Zingiber officinalis against Dysdarchus coiningi fever. Types of insects. First, beneficial insects, for example, Bombyx mori and Carya lecca, and harmful insects. These are called pests. Pests are a big challenge for the farmers to overcome. In field of agriculture, pests are big challenge for the farmers to overcome. Dysdarchus coiningi is a serious pest of cotton crop. It is commonly called red cotton bug. It belongs to family Pyrocoridae, order Hemiptera of phylum Arthropoda. More than 300 species are distributed worldwide, mainly India and America. Adult insect is crimson with a pair of black spot on the forewings. The membranous hind wings are concealed under the forewings when the insect is at rest. Male insects are about 14 mm in length, whereas female insects are little bigger in size. Nymph molts 5 times as they grow. First and second instar nymph are orange and red in color. Third instar nymph are emerging wing pads and orange at first and deepening in colors by the second day. Fourth instar nymph is crimson and cylindrical with larger, darker wing pad. Fifth instar nymph is similar with prominent dark wing pad, black antennae and legs. Infestation. Nymph and adult of Dysdarchus coiningi feeds on emerging balls of cotton and cotton seeds as they mature. Red cotton bug has become a major threat to transgenic cotton as it causes warts on internal carpel, walls of cotton balls, severe lint staining, lint locks, and lint lesions. Pest management. Botanical pesticides are plant natural products that belongs to the group of so-called secondary metabolites, which includes thousands of alkaloids, terpenoids, phenolics, and minor secondary chemicals These substances have no known function in photosynthesis, growth, or other basic aspects of plant physiology. However, their biological activity with insects, nematodes, and phytopathogenic fungi, among other organisms, is quite significant. The discovery rate of new insecticides from synthetic sources has declined in recent years. Furthermore, synthetic insecticides that share a neurotoxic mode of action can lead to the development of cross resistance in plants. Ma'am, also जो farmers use करते हैं ये synthetic chemicals पेस्टिसाइड्स के रूप में, तो हैंडलिंग में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है और उनके हाथों में स्किन इन्फेक्शन हो जाता है. एक ये भी मेजर कॉज है.
Ma'am, it's over now. Time is over. Please
Okay.
conclude. Please conclude.
Okay, sir. Many botanicals, mainly sir, Ginger officinalis is a flowering plant. Ginger is family Gingeraceae, which also includes turmeric and cardamoms. And my experiments were conducted 0.5, 1, and 2% of 3 replications and 3 treatments, 6 hours, 12 hours, and 24 hours. Sir, findings are in tables, concentrations, and results. So, mean modality, the analysis shows that with the increase of period and concentrations of the acetone extract, the mortality rate of third instar nymph of D. guinea also increases. Hence, the extract of Ginger officinalis gave appreciated results for controlling the nymph of D. guinea. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. The next presentation is by Dr. Romana Akhtar, Department of Zoology, Government PG College, Kishtawar, Jammu and Kashmir. Shall ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes, Romana ma'am. Start your presentation, please. Hello. Hello, Romana. Yes. Start your presentation. Some network issue. I think some network issue is there. Voice is not so clear. Romana ma'am, your voice is cracking. Please. Yes. Yes. Romana ma'am, start now. Adarsh sir, what to do?
Romana ma'am का नेटवर्क धोखा दे गया मुझे लगता है. चलिए नेक्स्ट स्पीकर बुलाइए आप. तब तक रोमाना आ जाएंगी नेटवर्क पे.
Yes. Next presenter is Dr. B. Kavita, Department of Botany, Rayalaseema University, Kurnool, Andhra Pradesh, India. Dr. B. Kavita ma'am, are you there? Dr. B. Kavita. Next, Dr. Vivek Kumar, MLSM College, Sundarnagar, Mandi.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please start your presentation.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Vivek Kumar, sir. You are audible. You are audible.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. You are audible.
Pandit sir, am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello.
Dr. Vivek Kumar, sir, you are audible.
Unmute कर लिया.
Yes, he left the meeting, and I think he is going to join again. Then we should take our next participant, Dr. Neha Kapoor, Department of Biotechnology, School of Applied Sciences, Jaipur.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yes, Dr. Neha Kapoor, please start your presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sharing my screen.
Okay.
The slides are visible?
No, slides are not visible.
Okay, just a moment.
Yes, they are visible now. Yes, you can start now.
Good afternoon, one and all. This side Dr. Neha Kapoor, Qureshi Andhra University, Jaipur. Today I shall be talking about endophytic fungi isolated from high altitude ethnomedicinal plants of Uttarakhand, a bioactive. First of all, I'll be discussing about what is an endophyte. As the word suggests, it is made up of two terms, endo and phyte. Endo means inside and phyte means plant. That means endophyte is a microorganism which resides or inside the internal tissues of the plant without showing any obvious symptom of their existence. Now the next point is why these endophytes need to be explored. These endophytes need to be explored because India is among the largest biodiversity regions of the globe, and it is the second most diverse group of living organisms fungi all over the world. And approximately 3 lakh plant species exist on the earth, and it is expected that each plant holds at least 1 to 4 endophytes. So with approximately 1 million endophytes or more than that are currently existing in the world, they are still considered as underexplored for various therapeutic applications. These endophytes came into the limelight after the billion-dollar drug Taxol from an endophytic fungi, Taxomyces inguinea, that was isolated from the bark of Taxus brevifolia. And then afterwards, there are many more fungal endophytes that has been isolated from many medicinal plants, and they are being explored for their therapeutic potential in many aspects. Another interesting fungal endophyte is Muscadar albus that has been isolated from the bark of Cinnamon thalanicum, that is dalchini. It was discovered in the year 2001 by an eminent scientist, Gary Strobel, sir. And there are many more fungal endophytes that are being explored for many purposes, like for anti-cancer drugs, like for antioxidant activities, or immunosuppressants or cardiovascular disorders. So, keeping these things in mind, we have explored endophytes to curbing the inflammation and to discover a drug that can actually act as an anti-cancer molecule. So, next is inflammation. Inflammation basically is the attack of multiple diseases. As you can see, it is responsible for causing type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disorders, cancer, immune disorders, rheumatoid arthritis, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease. And being on that, we have selected one enzyme, that is asparaginase. That enzyme is basically being used for some inflammatory purposes and to be being exploited as an anti-cancer drug. So keeping these things in mind, we have selected few plants for the isolation of few fungal endophytes and then to explore them for various bioactive molecules. So this is the hypothesis, basically, the current study in which we have selected few medicinal plants from the high altitude region of Uttarakhand, which includes Pinus baerniana, Cinnamon tamala, Cinnamon verum, Ocimum canuliforum, Rhododendron arboreum. And we have isolated few fungal endophytes from that, and then we have explored them for multiple activities. So this is complete overview of the work. These are the plants that has been selected from where we have isolated few fungal endophytes. We have subjected them for the submerged fermentation, from which we got some bank of bioactive compounds, and then we have screened that fermentation broth for some lipase inhibitory and anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial actions. And from there, we have, by using the liquid extraction, we have we obtained some crude extracts, which we subjected them for screening of L-asparaginase production, and the potent endophytes were isolated by morphotaxonomy as well as molecular taxonomy. Then we have isolated and characterized the L-asparaginase enzyme by using partial purification, and in vivo evaluation is done. These are some fungal endophytes that we have isolated, which includes Lesothopleuria pseudotheobrome, Hypoxylon species, unidentified Fusarium oxysporum, muscular species, and there are many more whose pictures are not shown here, but they are in our repository. Then we have screened them for multiple biological activities, for example, proteolytic activities. This figure 2 is showing some proteolytic activity of these culture filtrates of fungal endophytes. These are the figure 5 is showing amylolytic activity of culture filtrates of fungal endophytes. Then figure 3 is showing L-asparaginase activity. It is a phenol red asparaginase plate in which the pink color halo is observed. Then this is the one microbial action, and this picture is cellulolytic. Then screening for porcine pancreatic lipase inhibitor. Then we have all these cytokines for lipase inhibitor. Basically, look at the exhibit inhibit the enzyme lipase. It can be used for an anti-obesity drug or not. So maximum lipase inhibition was observed in few isolates that has been 17 As you can see from here, the smaller the size of the halo formed on the plate, the more potent is the fungal endophyte.
Neha ma'am, conclude it.
Okay, I'm just concluding it. So these fungal endophytes are then further identified by morphotaxonomy as well as by molecular taxonomy. So these are few publications from that. Then L-asparaginase production, we have screened them for in two phases, primary and secondary, from which the most potent endophytic fungal isolate then was further partial purification protein, and the activity was found to be 5 times, 5-fold it was. Then anti-inflammatory activities of these 3 enzymes were assessed by albumin denaturation assay, in which the potent endophyte, which was showing promising result in previous experiments, was in the potent anti-inflammatory activity of 74%. Then conclusion, in all 29 different fungal endophytes were isolated from all these species plants. Among that isolate, 6 isolates were positive in inhibiting lipase as well as L-asparaginase enzyme producer, of which 25 and 22 JTMI was a potent one. And furthermore, purification of these bioactive compounds and these compounds are underway. We are doing work on that. Thank you so much for your.
Thank you, Neha Kapoor, ma'am. Okay. Anyone who was in the list?
Ma'am, give all once more, Miss Romana. Mrs. Romana.
Okay.
Mrs. Romana, can you hear me? Would you like to speak again?
Dr. Romana, are you there?
डॉक्टर आपका इको हो रहा है, आपके दोनों माइक खुले हुए हैं सर।
हमारे?
जी 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 आपके 2 माइक खुले हुए हैं।
यार हमारे एक माइक तो बंद है।
Send the feedback link, ma'am. We are just waiting from last 3 hours, ma'am.
Yes, Dr. Romana is presenting now.
Please, ma'am.
Read chat box. Read chat box. Please, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, Romana. Yes. Your voice quality is very low. Please try to solve it. Voice is cracking, dear.
Dr. Romana, you are not audible at all.
please switch off your camera.
Okay, leave it. Okay, leave it. And now call Dr. Kavya for the result. Before that, till she is getting the result, I would like to call Dr. Atul Upreti that kindly declare the 2 awards for which we have received many applications. One is Research Excellence Award and another is Academic Excellence Award.
Yes, sir.
So will you please allow me to declare the awards?
Sir, as president of SRBS, you must declare the award, and it is a great pleasure that we are having these 2 awardees with us today. I don't want to disclose their name, but you please carry on, sir.
Okay, wait. Do we have with us are the first member of SRBS, the most intelligent, the international person, Dr. Rajendra Singh with us?
Ji, Dr. Saab available. Thank you so much.
Sir. You are awarded as, Namaskar sir, Namaskar. And you are awarded as the Research Excellence Award 2020 for SRBS. Many congratulations to you, sir.
बहुत धन्यवाद सर आपका, बहुत शुक्रिया।
Yes, I am trying to present the certificate and wait for the certificate. Can you see this certificate now?
No sir.
आ गया सर।
Yes sir.
आ गया।
Congratulations.
आ गया, देख लिया आपने?
जी डॉक्टर साहब देखा
Yes sir, I have.
सर जी बहुत
कलर का। Yes डॉक्टर साहब,
many congratulations. कल अखबार में आपका नाम
प्रेजेंट कीजिएगा।
थैंक यू सो मच डॉक्टर साहब, कुछ 2 लाइनें कह दूं कुछ?
अरे सर, most welcome sir. This is for which I'm requesting you to say something for SRBS and this conference. Thank you so much. Please.
कोशिश करी कि मैं टाइम से बना रहूं आपके साथ में। पहले तो heartiest congratulations for a grand success of this international e-conference which is organized by SRBS and other team members. Regarding this achievement award, I am thankful to Honorable Jury and governing body of SRBS, especially my dear friend Dr. Adarsh Pandey and Dr. Ramesh Chandra ji, to consider me for such a prestigious award. I am grateful to the dear members of SRBS. I dedicate this achievement to my respected teachers, mentors, and friends and family. Thank you so much, all in all, for your love and affection. Thank you so much, Sadiq. Doctor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now another award goes to the Academic Excellence Award. The Academic Excellence Award goes to Dr. Manoj Chand Kanpal, Director, JPM PG College, Bareilly. डॉक्टर साहब, मेनी कंग्रेचुलेशंस। अगर आप यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं तो एकेडमिक एक्सीलेंस अवार्ड, कैन यू ऑल सी द सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ एकेडमिक एक्सीलेंस?
नॉट येट सर, यू आर प्रेजेंटिंग।
दिखाई दिया?
नो सर।
आपकी स्क्रीन दिखाई दे रही है। सर्टिफिकेट पहले आप ऑन कर लीजिए। पहले
सर्टिफिकेट ऑन कर लिया यार मैंने, पता नहीं क्यों नहीं दिख रहा है।
सर मल्टीपल स्क्रीन आ गई।
आप अपना स्क्रीन प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं सर अभी सर्टिफिकेट।
नदीम खान साहब के लिए मेरा एक मैसेज है कि जब आप किसी कॉन्फ्रेंस को अटेंड कर रहे होते हैं तो मेरे ख्याल से लास्ट मोमेंट तक आपको वेट करना पड़ता है फॉर द लिंक फॉर द सर्टिफिकेट।
नदीम खान को कुछ ज्यादा
सर्टिफिकेट
जल्दी।
आपको इनॉग्रल में नहीं मिलता है, वैलिडिटी में मिलते हैं सर्टिफिकेट। थैंक यू सो मच।
Yes, sir. It's visible now.
वेरी नाइस, बहुत शानदार, बहुत बहुत बधाइयाँ।
Full, sir.
हम पर अपना आशीर्वाद बनाए रखिए डॉक्टर राजेंद्र सिंह सर, डॉक्टर मनोज चंद कांडपाल साहब। हम लोग बड़े गरीब लोग हैं, आपका सहयोग मिल जाता है तो हमारी हिम्मत बढ़ जाती है। अब नाउ इट ओवर।
हिंदुस्तान की सारी जनता आपके जैसी गरीब हो जाए डॉक्टर साहब।
डॉक्टर प्रीति ना कॉल डॉक्टर काव्या फॉर द
Okay.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to call Dr. Kavya, who is a member of our jury, who will tell about the presentations presented by our participants. So welcome, Kavya ma'am. Please say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Preeti. Thank you so much.
Please put your Yes, Kavya ma'am. Hello, Dr. Kavya. Adarsh sir. Adarsh sir. Adarsh sir.
प्रीति मैम मेरे ख्याल से काव्या जी कनेक्टेड नहीं हो पा रही हैं, तो प्रीति जी
सर
yes,
मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी, राजेंद्र सर शुरू से ही थे हम लोगों के साथ, तो क्यों ना हम लोग सर को ही आज जूरी में इंक्लूड कर दें और सर कुछ बताइए प्रेजेंटेशन के बारे में।
Sir is saying something. Kavya ma'am is with us, very much with us, I think. She is at August to decide this. Hello sir.
काव्या मैम बोल रही हैं, आप लोग सुनने की कोशिश कीजिए।
जी जी जी।
सर आवाज नहीं आ रही है।
काव्या जी आपकी आवाज बहुत स्लो आ रही है, बहुत स्लो।
सुनाई नहीं दे रहा काव्या मैडम, किसी को सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है, सॉरी। चलिए मैं पढ़ देता हूँ, आपका रिजल्ट मैं ही बता देता हूँ सबको, ठीक है? चलिए ठीक है। हाँ, डॉक्टर काव्या की आवाज सुनाई नहीं दे रही है तो मैं उनका मैसेज पढ़ देता हूँ।
यस सर।
ठीक है सर?
Yes sir, yes sir. Go ahead sir.
Hello. Okay, Dr. Akriti gave a wonderful presentation as keynote talk. Though all the presentations were excellent, but to keep the tradition, we agreed to have first among equals as Dr. Anjana Bhatia, and although there was a technical glitch with Dr. Reena, but she presented equally well, and she is second. Dr. Ahlawat presented on COVID, which is very contemporary, and she is third. I again would say that number result is just customary, and science is always inspiring for the best. I wish all the participants a heartiest congratulations and best of luck for future. My special congratulations to Dr. Akriti. As a very young scientist, she gave a lovely presentation. And here are the results. So the result is going to be declared now. The third best paper, third award goes to Mr. Yusuf S. Saad from Noida. Mr. Yusuf S. Saad.
Congratulations, Yusuf. Congratulations.
Mr. Yusuf S. Saad.
Hello, Mr. Yusuf.
Mr. Yusuf. Yeah. Can you hear me? You got the third best paper award. Many
you,
congratulations. Many congratulations. Would you like to speak a line?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good, sir.
And
Thank you.
Please mute your mic.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. And the best paper second prize, according to our jury, goes to Dr. Neha Kapoor from Jaipur, Rajasthan. Dr. Neha, many congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Would you like to speak something?
Thank you so much, sir, for organizing such a wonderful international e-conference. I am also attending your other conferences also, and it was a very nice experience and very nice presentations presented by all the speakers as well as keynote speakers. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we are not biased at all. Okay?
Yeah.
Dr.
Thank you.
Kapoor has prepared the result very carefully. You know, she is from IIT and she is very well, she is a very good scientist. So many congratulations. Keep in touch. We would be presenting more and more conferences like that. Okay? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
और अब बैठिए दिल थाम के. First prize goes to any guesses? Dr. Atul Upreti?
No
Dr.
guesses,
Preeti?
sir.
No guesses?
It was a very tough job. All the presentations were so well. So I am
Dr.
really-
Preeti Singh, can you guess?
No, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Okay. The first prize, the best paper first goes to Ritu Sharma from Himachal Pradesh.
Oh,
Ritu?
thank you. Thank you
Ritu,
so
are
much,
you
sir.
there?
Thank you. Yes, sir, I am there. I am there. I am there.
हिंदी में
Thank
बोलो
you.
जो बोला.
जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, बहुत बहुत दिल से, तहे दिल से शुक्रिया प्रीति मैम, बहुत बिग थैंक यू सो मच।
आप तीनों, आपको क्या लगता है कि हम लोगों ने रिजल्ट तैयार करने में किसी प्रकार की कोई प्रॉम्प्टिंग तो नहीं की ना?
नहीं सर, नहीं बिल्कुल भी नहीं। अब मैं तो नंबर 1 पर आई हूँ, तो मैं तो ऐसा ही कहूंगी कि बहुत ही अच्छा शानदार रिजल्ट है, बट नहीं, थैंक यू सो मच डिस्पाइट ऑफ दिस जोक। मैं एक बात कहना चाहूंगी आदर्श सर, ये जो टेक्निकल हिचेस रहते हैं ये एक तरफ है, लेकिन एक कॉन्फ्रेंस में मतलब आप समझिए कि पूरा वर्ल्ड कनेक्ट हो रहा है आज, मतलब यूएस से लेकर के कश्मीर से लेकर तो केरला तक हम सब कनेक्टेड हैं। तो सर ये बहुत ही अच्छा सा एक्सपीरियंस मुझे जो है वो पर्सनली लगा कि आप ऑल इंडिया में देख रहे हैं कि क्या रिसर्च पर्सपेक्टिव्स चल रहे हैं, हम कहाँ स्टैंड करते हैं या आगे फर्दर स्कोप्स क्या है। तो आप ऐसे काइंडली जब भी ऑर्गेनाइज करें तो हम सबको लूप में जरूर रखिएगा। आई वुड डेफिनेटली वुड be the part of your each and every conference in future. Wonderful organization and thank you so much. Preeti ma'am, you are so beautiful and and everything is really.
Thank you. Ritu, तो लास्ट सीरीज से ही हम लोग के साथ अटैच्ड हो, तुमने हर दिन इसमें मैसेज करके मेरे से लिंक लिया और पिछली सीरीज से ही हम लोग के साथ अटैच्ड है।
लेकिन प्रीति मैम,
यस सर,
now it's your responsibility to make all the 3 prize winners make the SRBS Live members.
All the presenters would be the members.
हाँ, ये बताइए कब बनेंगे आप लोग सब लाइफ मेंबर? ऋतु,
सर आप आज ही बता दीजिए टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस। मैं तो आज ही आपके साथ जुड़ना पसंद करूंगी। अभी के अभी आप कहिए।
बस एक सिंपल सा
लिंक शेयर कर दीजिए,
आपको लिंक शेयर
ग्रुप में कर दीजिए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सर। मैं
आपको प्रीति मैम आपको पूरा सिस्टम प्रॉपर्ली समझा देंगी and I would be happy to have you all. Okay,
thank you so much sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, most welcome, and see your name in tomorrow's newspaper too. Okay.
Oh, okay, thank you sir. That's a big honor for me. आप लोग मेरे फेवरेट सीएम जी की गवर्नर देखते हैं तो बहुत ही अच्छा लगेगा। योगी जी तो
Dr. Kavya there, please. Dr. Kavya, please.
I am so sorry. Network is so bad today, and it is one of those exceptional days जब सच में network खराब होता है. So Adarsh ji has already declared the results, and I would like to congratulate all the winners. But I would like to also say one thing कि it is just first among the equals. हम सब रिसर्च करते हैं, हम सब क्लास में पढ़ाते हैं, और इसमें कभी भी ना रैट रेस नहीं होती है। इसीलिए आज भी शिक्षा देना और शिक्षा देना शायद सबसे पावन माना जाता है, सबसे क्लीन बिजनेस, सबसे क्लीन प्रोफेशन माना जाता है, क्योंकि इसमें अभी भी हम रैट रेस में एंटर नहीं हुए हैं। हम इम्प्रोवाइजेशन के लिए बेटरमेंट के टुवर्ड्स जाते हैं। जब बिल्कुल यंग रिसर्चर लाइक आकृति श्रीवास्तव ने इतना अच्छा कीनोट लेक्चर दिया, तो मुझे इतना सिक्योर फील हुआ आदर्श जी कि हमारा फ्यूचर सेफ हैंड्स में है, साइंस का फ्यूचर सेफ हैंड्स में है। फिर जब मैं डॉक्टर प्रीति सिंह को देख रही हूँ, फिर जब मैं डॉक्टर नेहा कपूर को देख रही हूँ, या फिर डॉक्टर ऋतु शर्मा या यूसुफ जी का प्रेजेंटेशन व्हेन आई एम लिसनिंग, so I am feeling that mentors are also excellent. So the whole chain of mentor and mentee of science is just so concrete that आपने आज एक फीलिंग तो for sure दी है कि इंडिया में साइंस हमेशा नंबर 1 रहेगी, और ये हम ही लोगों का छोटा छोटा सा एफर्ट है जो इन कॉन्फ्रेंसेस के थ्रू एक बहुत बड़ी विंडो ओपन करता है। मैं दिल से सबका शुक्रिया करती हूँ, और आदर्श जी आपको बहुत बहुत अप्रिसिएशन। ये चीजें आसान नहीं होती हैं, ये इसी कोविड में सिखाई हूँ, सबको डिजिटली मिलवाया है, एंड आपने तो इसमें लीडिंग ले ली है। सो आई एम अप्रिशिएटिव ऑफ दिस। थैंक यू एवरीवन।
Thank you, Kavya.
Priti, over to you.
Hello. Hello.
हाँ डॉक्टर पति, please.
You are audible.
जी जी. So thank you all our speakers, and first of all I would like to apologize for these technical hitches, but these are some, as ma'am says, some those exceptional days when we have extremely bad conditions of network, and a few of our presenters could not present their work to us. I'm very sorry for that too. And now I would like to call upon Dr. Adarsh Pandey for giving a speech of thanks. Dr. Adarsh Pandey.
Thank you, Dr. Atul Priti. And on behalf of this college, Shahjahanpur, Government PG College, and Society for Research in Political Science, which was established in June 2019. Myself, Dr. Adarsh Pandey, Department of Botany, SS College, Shahjahanpur, on behalf of the full organizing committee, including the organizing secretary, Dr. Atul Priti, including co-organizing secretary, Dr. Preeti Singh, including co-convener and host, Dr. Ramesh Chandra, including the patrons, Dr. Chanyal and Dr. A.K. Mishra sir from SS College and GPGC College, Bajpur. Our reporter, Dr. Nirupama Dalakoti. I am thankful to everyone who listened carefully, vigilantly, and beautifully. I am thankful to all in all, who presented the papers here, I'm thankful to Dr. Akriti Srivastava, who is the keynote speaker. I'm thankful to Dr. Anjana Bhatia, Dr. Reena Dave, and Dr. Jyoti Helawat for presenting the beautiful lectures. I'm thankful to each and all. I'm thankful to every listener of this international e-conference, and thank you so much, and wait for the next event. Thank you all. Bye bye, and don't forget to fill the feedback link, which is open for 3 p.m. only. Thank you so much, Dr. Atul.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Is it over or it is still remaining something? Aishwarya, recording off kar do.
That's all, sir. That's all.
Thank you. Bye bye. Aishwarya, recording off karo.
Sir,
And I'm thankful to our jury.